former president vows to fight for his name at the start of a trial into his business dealings. And police hunt for a 9-year-old girl missing after she asked to cycle a lap around a New York park by herself. A very good morning to you. The Chancellor has told Sky News that it will be very difficult to see tax cuts this year. Jeremy Hunt was being pushed on the subject ahead of his speech to the Conservative Party conference by Kay Burley earlier this morning. It's the second day of this year's event where the focus is on divisions on the economy, tax and the pensions triple lock. Well, in his speech today, the Chancellor is not expected to announce any tax cuts after saying any cuts now would be inflationary. He's also set to announce an increase in the national living wage from £10.42 per hour to £11, boosting wages for 2 million of the UK's lowest paid earners. We're expecting to see tougher benefits sanctions, making it harder for people claiming welfare to do so without taking active steps to get a job. And alongside that, there's no expected comment on the extension to the high-speed 2 railways northern leg.
Let me tell you, when it comes to tax cuts, if we gave big tax cuts now, that would put more money in people's pockets and that would be inflationary. And right now we are in a big battle which is succeeding to bring down inflation. It was over 11% when I became Chancellor. It's now under 7%. And the fastest way that we can help working families, the people that Michael Gove was talking about, if we halve inflation, that's not a 1p in the pound tax cut. That's 5 pence in the pound boost to their income. That's the fastest thing we can do, and nothing is going to compromise that battle.
There we go. That was, of course, the Chancellor on with Kay Burley earlier this morning. Let's bring in now our Deputy Political Editor, Sam Coates, of course, on the ground there at Tory Party conference. Sam, lots to get to, in particular what we might expect from the big speech of the day from the Chancellor. But first and foremost, I'm just interested in your take, a seasoned attendee of these sorts of conferences, on whether it really is a little bit empty, whether the mood is a little bit downbeat compared to what you would expect at a Tory Party conference?
To be honest, Wilf, I've been here about 36 hours now, and I've had quite a good opportunity to take the temperature with backbenchers, but frontbenchers, cabinet ministers. And actually, the Conservative Party is in slightly better heart than it was maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago as a result of Rishi Sunak's moves 10 days ago about climate. The softening of some of those climate targets has actually buoyed many Conservatives who think that finally he's doing the kind of conservative things that they want to see that might create dividing lines with the Labour Party and could put them in contention for a general election. Of course, there is a reality hanging over this conference that they are 17 percentage points behind Labour in the polls. That's the figure from Sky's poll of polls. But there's just a little bit more fight about the party, particularly amongst the cabinet, than there perhaps has been for some time. They are worried about the poll lead. They are worried about challenges from the Liberal Democrats, the fact that Labour look to be gaining in Scotland. But they think there is still an argument to be made. And this week, Rishi Sunak will be presenting himself as the person who can change your life for the better. He will suggest that Keir Starmer is somebody who is just another old, stale and failed politician. However, there are lots of people competing with Rishi Sunak with other messages that are starting to crowd out the voice of the man that you see on screen at the moment. You see all these alternative leadership bids, sort of beauty parades, peacocking around on the stage. Individuals, whether it's Suella Braverman or Priti Patel, or Kemi Badenoch, making, as it were, slightly different, sending slightly different signals, flexing their muscles. So the problem for the Prime Minister isn't that the party isn't generally in good heart, it's that he's got to use this moment to speak directly to the public, to reintroduce himself to the public as somebody who can make their lives better. But that message is being crowded up by some of his colleagues who are playing their own games.
Well, maybe we'll talk about some of those colleagues and future potential leaders, but also past leaders who are trying to grab the agenda in a moment. But specifically on tax cuts and what we learnt on Breakfast with Kay this morning from the Chancellor. I mean, he said there's not going to be a big tax cut this year. I don't think that comes as any surprise. He didn't rule out the prospect of a tax cut before an election, i.e. at some point early next year. And my question on that, Sam, is what the party faithful expect and want, because I guess one of the crazy aspects of the mini budget a year or so ago that perhaps gets less focus was the idea of throwing all of your giveaways at one time so far away from an election, and actually whether the party faithful, even if they're hungry for tax cuts sooner rather than later, actually wouldn't mind if it comes a little bit into next year, because then it might deliver ahead of an election.
So it's interesting, Wilf. There are two big questions. There's one about timing, and you outlined the arguments really well. I suspect that so long as there's something, it doesn't really matter whether it's now or whether it's later. And frankly, the economic situation is so dire that it is hard to deliver it now. There isn't much money left, as somebody once said. But there's a really interesting argument going on here in Manchester. It was kicked off yesterday morning on Trevor Phillips' show with Michael Gove. He suggested tax cuts aimed at working people was an idea that he was interested in. Meanwhile, that comes against a backdrop of a debate about whether or not inheritance tax might be something maybe raising the threshold initially to 1.5 million passed on tax-free, then potentially giving it away altogether. And both of those almost competing arguments come against a backdrop of a discussion about whether it should be the red wall that the party focuses on, working people, whether or not aspiration in the south of England is something that ought to get the focus and be the recipient potentially of any tax giveaway. There's a question about whether or not this party stands for people who are in work doing the right thing but not very well paid. They should be the beneficiary, or whether or not maybe aspiration and inheritance tax is the right way to spend any spare cash that turns up before the election. There's a bit of an existential crisis, frankly, Wilf, about who the Tory party stands for. Is it that red wall that Boris Johnson won? Is it the traditional heartland? I think we're going to see some really interesting answers to important questions over the coming months.
Quickly, I wanted to ask you as well about the attacks from other members of the party. Liz Truss is due to give a speech today, obviously purposefully scheduled in and around when the Chancellor's due to give his own speech. No doubt she will say loud and clear tax cuts should come, they should be big and they should come soon. What do you think the reaction will be to that? Is there a sense of unity during conference in a way that perhaps there wasn't last year, and the party faithful will step back and say, give the new team a bit of a chance, or will that put pressure on the Chancellor just moments before his own speech?
I mean, this is still a divided and wounded party, and, Jeremy Hunt was the Chancellor appointed by Liz Truss, who reversed all of Liz Truss's tax cuts a year ago, that today she is going to basically make the case for once again at a fringe on the same day that he is giving his speech as Chancellor. I mean, it just hurts your head when you think about all of that happening at once. It's a confused party that probably needs to take a long look at itself in the mirror collectively, because I don't think there is really a collective, coherent, cohesive economic policy direction for this party that everybody in this hall in Manchester would go along. And I don't think there has been, frankly, since Boris Johnson. I think that there is a desire to win, and I think that will trump the desires of different people to do different things. So to that extent, criticism might be relatively muted. But if this party goes into opposition, every sign here in Manchester is that this time next year or the year after, if they're on opposition, this party is going to sort of splinter in 1,000 pieces and could take quite some time to put back together in a new economic, ideological direction.
Sam Coates, as ever, thank you so much for that. And by the way, I'm going to begrudgingly tease his new podcast set up with Politico. I listened to it last night. The insights were so helpful. I'd actually rather just steal all of them each week on a Monday morning on my show and claim the insights as my own. But instead, I will mention that you can listen to Sam and Jack's new podcast every Sunday evening, teasing ahead what's likely to happen in politics each week. It's called Politics with Jack and Sam, or is it called At Home with Jack and Sam? I don't know where the politics, there we go, with Jack and Sam's. You can listen to it each week on Sunday evenings. You can scan the QR code on your screen now if you want to subscribe. There it is. Politics at Jack and Sam's. The exact title doesn't matter. The key aspect is the two individuals teasing ahead everything you need to know in the week to come in Westminster. Right, let's discuss a little bit more now what might come out of this Tory party conference. David Davis, former Brexit secretary, of course, former Shadow Home Secretary and a party grandee, joins me. David, what's the mood like? Some people suggesting it's a bit lacklustre, perhaps not as well attended as it could have been?
Oh, I'm not sure about that. I mean, the thing that matters at these party conferences is partly the tenor, and there's been lots and lots of argument, of course, but what's most important will be the leader's speech at the end, because at the moment, Rishi's done half the job. He's taken hold of the government. He's given a sense of grip and competence and so on. But what he hasn't done is express the vision for the future in terms that people understand it themselves. You know, whether I can buy a house, whether I've got enough money to get by, whether my pension's going to work, all those sorts of things. He needs to do that. Ben Houchen said it last night. I think he was right. I think also Rishi's aware of it. So I think we're looking forward to a really important speech at the end of the conference.
Let's focus on today quickly, if we can. Liz Truss, the former PM, gives a speech at about lunchtime. The Chancellor gives his speech moments after that. We're expecting Liz Truss to outline the case for tax cuts, big tax cuts now, whereas the Chancellor said with Kay Burley earlier, perhaps there could be a small tax cut at some point next year, but nothing immediate. Where do you stand on that debate?
Well, first thing I'll say with respect to Liz is, you know, we've had the experiment in trying Liz's policy last year. And what you don't want is a big tax cut followed by a drop in the pound, followed by a massive increase in the cost of living, which is what would happen if you had too big a tax cut, which wasn't thought through carefully. Now, with respect to whether or not they can afford one now, I think actually I am with those who believe that a moderate tax cut, a modest tax cut, is possible this year. Why do I say that? Well, they're being very cautious in terms of deficits of borrowing and so on. Look at what's happened to the forecasts that the Bank of England, the OBR, the Treasury have put up in the last year. They've all been pessimistic. We had a reassessment of the size of the economy only a couple of months ago. So they're being too pessimistic. And I think that's probably what's being said to the Chancellor and the Prime Minister. And if I were them, I'd aim off a bit and say, actually, we can probably afford a bit more than the Bank and the Treasury and the OBR are telling us. That's where I'd be. Not a huge tax cut, not a massive sort of tidal wave tax cut, the sort of thing I suspect that Liz will be talking about later, but a carefully thought through modest tax cut's going to have big impact. I mean, I would do something like do away with IR35 or maybe a partial inheritance tax removal, not a complete abolition, or maybe a change in income tax. One of those sorts of things which will have direct effect on the ordinary person and actually have a beneficial economic effect. But
well,
you know,
I wasn't going to bring up inheritance tax, to be honest, but you can't argue that cutting inheritance tax will help ordinary people. It just simply won't. Surely if there's only a little bit of room for a little bit of a tax cut, that's got to be last on the list.
Well, forgive me, but the simple truth is that the story of all taxes is they start out as taxes on the rich and they gradually become taxes on the middle class and then the poor and so on. And the truth of the matter is today, although only about 5% of people pay inheritance tax, historically, I would think more like 50% of the country, because of house price inflation and other things like that, are worrying about it for the future. And it's the worry element of tax as much as the cash element of tax that matters. But as I said, it would be small. It wouldn't be enormous, you know, and it wouldn't be my first in batting order. But it's the sort of thing that you might run with to demonstrate what the direction of the country is. What the trouble is in the last 4 or 5 years, partly because of COVID, really, the historic tendency of the Conservative Party to try to keep taxes down has been overwhelmed by events. And we need to show indications that that's going to turn around a little bit and go in a different direction.
It's not top of your batting order. Where is it relative to an income tax, changing the bands around that, business rates, corporate taxes, all of which will have a much more immediate impact on the economy?
Well, I don't think interest rates need to go up any more at all. I think they've done their job, and I think that the trend now will be downwards on interest rates, or ought to be. largely because it has a direct impact on people's ability to spend, on their mortgages and so on. And I think if we want to increase growth, part of that's about increasing consumer optimism, and that's a direct impact there. My favourite, if you like, would be something to help small businesses. I mean, I would abolish IR35. We won't go into the detail of the bureaucracy, but it's a very, very wearing and difficult tax that represses activity, represses enterprise. I would abolish it and get very little take. It will cost next to nothing for the Treasury to do that. And I'd look at a small change in the basic rate of income tax. Because I just think that those are the things that have direct impact and will actually feed into growth. They won't pay for themselves entirely. I mean, IR35 is so small it doesn't matter, but they will have a big impact on optimism and on enterprise and on determination and ambition, if you like. Those are the sorts of things you need to do to make the economy grow.
Finally, wanted to touch on HS2, but not the issue at hand, but rather your party bosses, your government's communications around it. And once there was a leak, hypothetical or otherwise, a week or two ago, about what the government might be doing, do you think that the government should have come out and decided and announced what it was deciding to do on this topic loud and clear before getting to Manchester, a city very much at the centre of the debate, and having all these hypotheticals, taking up every interview for half of what's being discussed with no answers given? Do you think they made a communications error?
Well, look, I mean, turn that on its head. One of the problems with HS2, and we go back to Blair and Brown and Cameron and May and Johnson, all of them seem to make the decisions on the basis of the headline. Where is it we're going? Oh, we're investing for the future, without thinking through the details. I mean, I'm not an HS2 fan simply because, and I'm a Northern MP, remember, simply because I thought there were better ways to spend the money, and it was always going to be 3 or 4 times overrun, which is now what we've discovered. It's much better to get the decision right, and that's characteristic of Rishi Sunak. He wants to get the decision right. Now, as to how this came about, whether it was a leak from Number 10 or whatever, and all those things, that's I won't say above my pay grade, just beyond my pay grade. But what's important is to get the decision right. And bear in mind, it's got a decision with knock-on effects. So you might, for example, not be too keen on carrying on with the Birmingham to Manchester extension, but equally important to Manchester and all the other northern cities is the east-west train links. And they're much more cost-effective, they're faster, and they're more clear in their impact. All the way from Liverpool to Hull, we could do with improving the train lines there. And probably much more effective than HS2. So it's getting it right that matters. It's going through all of the cost details, all the planning details and the alternatives, and then making the right decision. And that, frankly, is what the public expect. I mean, you don't imagine that the North is full of people who are waiting on HS2. What they're doing is waiting on the next train to Leeds. And that's not quite the same problem. And they actually expect a decision which treats them like intelligent people, which is what they are, and says, look, this is the best way we can spend money for your advantage. We do that, then this will all be forgotten. This last few days of arguing about it will be forgotten.
David Davis, thanks so much.
My pleasure.
We'll be back out to the Tory Party conference with Victoria Adkins and John Glenn, of course, very senior members of the Treasury, ahead, of course, of Jeremy Hunt's speech this afternoon. Meantime, we've got a bit of breaking news on the business front. Dame Sharon White is to step down as the boss of John Lewis Partnership in February 2025. That was, in fact, when her term, typically with John Lewis, you get a 5-year term, was due to end anyway. Potentially was going to seek an extension of that term, so she's not seeking that extension according to this release, but she will step down February 2025. We'll have more on that with Ian King shortly. NHS bosses are warning patients to expect extreme disruption in hospitals this week, with reduced levels of staff expected. Junior doctors and consultants are joining forces to strike over pay and conditions, and they've warned there could be more strikes of this ilk on the way. Well, thousands of British Medical Association members have started their action this morning. The union says they'll be doing what's called Christmas Day cover. It means only emergency care will be fully staffed over the next 72 hours. Junior doctors and consultants have been offered 6% pay rises, plus an additional £1,250 for juniors. The BMA is asking for a rise of 35%. Strikes have led to more than 1 million appointments and operations being cancelled.
I'm just so unsure why Mr. Sunak is making no effort to fix pay, which is the number one reason that doctors are being driven away from this, from our workforce, to try and restore our workforce to the credibility that it had before and be able to provide high quality healthcare once again.
Joining us live now, our correspondent Matthew Thompson, who's outside Reading's Royal Berkshire Hospital. Matthew, I guess it's not a historic first anymore, the fact that they're both striking together, but the scale of it is.
That's exactly the point. I mean, yes, you're right to say that just a matter of weeks ago, it was the very first time that both junior doctors and consultants had been on strike together. But that was only for 24 hours. As of this morning, they're now both on strike together for 3 full days. And so that makes it arguably the most disruptive strike in the history of the NHS, at least in England, where this strike is happening. And the effects of that are widespread. We were just in accident emergency, for example, where it was very, very busy for that time on a Monday morning. On one hand, that's a good thing because it shows people are still coming to hospital in spite of the strikes. And that's one of the key messages is if you do need emergency care, there are still doctors and nurses in A&Es to look after you. But on the other hand, it shows the extreme pressures that are already on the NHS, as I say, as we stand at the beginning of this extremely disruptive strike. I was speaking to one manager who said to me that they've been calling patients in some cases for the 7th or 8th time to cancel and rearrange appointments. We know waiting lists are ballooning, for example. And I was speaking to a senior nurse in A&E just a moment ago who said part of the problem in this is because there is no obvious resolution to the strikes. That's been 100 days since the health secretary met the unions and there are no meetings, as we understand it, planned in the foreseeable future. From her point of view as a senior nurse who's dealing with rotas and management, etc., she's not only having to plan for the disruption of this strike, but potentially for the disruption of more strikes yet to come. The mandates run until February, for example, and that has impacts on morale, on fatigue, and ultimately, therefore, on patient safety. Especially, you've got to imagine, well, as we go into a winter where there's already warnings about COVID and flu and the usual winter pressures, add to that the strikes, the already burgeoning waiting lists because of COVID, and it really doesn't make for a pretty picture in the months ahead.
Matthew, thanks so much for that. Matthew Thompson there for us outside Royal Berkshire Hospital in Reading. You are watching Sky News Today. So much more still to come. The latest on the war in Ukraine. We'll be discussing whether the US and Europe's united support might be faltering. And Ryder Cup celebrations after Team Europe's triumphs. Much more still coming.
It started off as a project to do a piece of work which would be a composite of, say, 80 portraits and have it as one piece. So from a distance, it would look quite abstract. And then as it got closer, you'll see the sort of personalities of each portrait. And that's a portrait I just did of a friend's dog who passed away last year. So I trained at the Royal Academy and did a lot of drawing from life, and there was a lot of portraiture as well. So I was inspired by that. My father was an artist, and he did some wonderful portraits. So I suppose it's in my psyche, really. Unfortunately, 10 years ago, my fiancée passed away, Debbie, and she said, if you can do 80, you can do 100. If you can do 100, you can do 200. And she said, you could actually do the city of St. David's. And I just thought, what an amazing idea. And it's sort of her legacy as well. And it's very much, the way I've dealt with bereavement and focusing on people. And I've met some amazing people through it and some wonderful characters. And you get to know a certain sort of facet of their characters, an insight into who they are. And it's done me the power of good. And I just absolutely adore doing them. My philosophy is just to carry on doing it. I love doing them so much, and it sort of centers me, and it's something, as I said earlier on, a focal point for me. And it sort of, so by next year, I hope to achieve 1,000. Well, I don't hope, I will achieve 1,000. So that seems a considerable number to exhibit.
Let's get you more now on that breaking news. The chair of John Lewis, Dame Sharon White, to step down after 5 years. That's the initial term that she was due to serve. It would make the shortest serving chair, though, over the partnership's 100-year history. Ian King joins me now from the city. Ian, were we expecting her to apply for a second 5-year term or to extend it? Does this surprise the City of London, or was it largely expected?
Well, I think you bear in mind that the average duration of a FTSE 100 CEO is 5 years, maybe even less than that, 4.5 years on some measures. This is a comparable job to being a CEO of a FTSE 100 company running the John Lewis partnership. And so I think on that basis, one can't be too surprised that she's announced that she's stepping down. Bear in mind that her departure date is still some 18 months away. She's approaching the latter stages of a 5-year term in office, so she won't be going until February 2025. But it's been a pretty tumultuous term of office for Dame Sharon White. Obviously, she inherited a situation where, by most people's reckoning, the John Lewis department store chain had overexpanded. It had far too many stores, given that the speed of the transition towards online sales, which now make up well over half of John Lewis total sales now. And so she's had to go through this period of rationalising the store estate. At the same time, Waitrose, which is the other arm of the partnership, of course, obviously the situations in which Waitrose is trading intensely competitive. A period of inflation has really put pressure on all of the supermarket multiples to cut their prices aggressively, and Waitrose has been no stranger to that as well. So a very tough term of office indeed. The partnership also labouring under some £1.6 billion worth of debt right now, and because it's owned by its employees, it makes it very difficult for it to raise capital. It's not like a PLC where you go to the stock market and raise money that way. And that has really sort of left Dame Sharon quite hidebound as well in terms of her room for manoeuvre. Now, the partnership has abandoned its partnership bonus. This is the bonus that the partners get every year. In recent years, if you go back a decade or so, at one point it was up around sort of 15% of your annual salary, which is a very popular move. She's had to cancel the bonuses in 2 out of the last 3 years, which has made her job difficult as well in terms of keeping staff morale on the straight and narrow. And indeed, the partnership forum, there was recently a vote of confidence in her, which she did get through. But it's fair to say that a lot of the colleagues are not very happy with the way things have been going lately. I should say, there are signs of a turnaround at the John Lewis partnership. It just reported its half-year results, and we spoke to Dame Sharon at the time. Half-year losses came in at 57.3 million. That was for the 6 months to the end of July. Bear in mind, the partnership makes all of its money around the Christmas period.
Ian, great stuff. Thanks so much. Of course, much more reaction to that coming up at 11:30 on Business Live with Ian. Very quickly, just want to show you some live pictures or moments ago pictures from the Conservative Party conference. Liz Truss arriving. She is aiming to disrupt proceedings for the government today. Of course, she's due to give a speech around about lunchtime, and that comes an hour or two before the Chancellor's speech. I have a feeling we will hear the phrase tax cuts in her speech. Now, households in England and Wales could soon see a rise in water bills as companies upgrade their infrastructure to tackle water pollution. Under new plans, customers could see their annual water bill rise by £156 in order to fund the improvements. Providers will invest £96 billion in the second half of the 2030s, almost double the current level. Companies also say it will pay for 10 new reservoirs, cut leaks and stop the equivalent of 6,800 Olympic swimming pools worth of sewage spills. Water UK believes the proposed price hike will provide 30,000 new jobs. Well, in a statement, the chief executive of Water UK said these record-breaking investment proposals will secure our water supply as we deal with changing climate and growing population. While increasing bills is never welcome, this investment in our country's infrastructure is essential to ensure the security of our water supply. Our correspondent Paul Kelso joins me now with more on this Paul, I guess any price increase is going to go down badly at the current time, even if the plans laid out are going to significantly deliver for customers?
Yeah, not least if the record of the water companies has been so poor, certainly when it comes to those sewage overflows, which have caused real disquiet in local communities and across the country. They are deeply unpopular. What's happening here is the regulatory process. It's a long one. This is setting the terms of investment and bills for the next 5 years, from 2025 to 2030. As part of that, the water companies put in their bids, if you like, which include these numbers that bills will rise in the short term, around £85 a year. The average bill at the moment is about £450 for reference, rising to about £150. The water companies say they're going to spend all this money, nearly £100 billion of investment, but it's also going to generate profits for them, regulated profits, and likely dividends. Remember, the great controversy around the way water is managed in the UK is that huge amounts of money have been extracted in dividends by water companies, about £1.5 billion last year, even as the performance and the amount, particularly around sewage, which is such a visible sign of failure in the water system, that has gone on. And the companies are burdened with around £60 billion of debt. When privatisation happened, all the debt was written off. There was no debt. So the big tension here is between bill payers ultimately are going to have to meet the cost of upgrading our water system. That's the only place the money can come from, except these are privately owned companies, and the extraction of dividends and the nature and the size of the profits is a controversial one. And has become more so, particularly in the last Parliament. So what the regulator Ofwat will do is look at these bids, work out if they agree with them, and then essentially it'll give the all clear or not to these bill rises. But then its role will be to regulate the size of those profits and to try and ensure actually the companies can survive. Remember, Thames Water was talking to the government about a bailout. Its debts are so high. So this is a precarious industry, one we all rely on, and worth remembering the UK is the only country in the world that manages its water system this way.
Paul Kelso, as ever, thank you so much for that. Let's have a look at the weather now.
Warm memories wherever you go. The weather, sponsored by Qatar Airways.
England and Wales will be quite wet later today and into the evening, drying later, while the north and west look wet and windy for much of the rest of the week. It'll be quite warm and humid in the south today, cooler and fresher elsewhere. Central England and Wales will see outbreaks of rain spreading to most parts this afternoon, some heavy and thundery, while northern and southern England won't see more than a few showers.
The weather, sponsored by Qatar Airways.
You're watching Sky News today. Coming up as the Chancellor's putting his final touches on his speech due this afternoon. We'll speak live to one of his team.
Slide your pensions into one place. Whether you're cautious, ambitious, or ethical with your money, Wealthify has an investment plan.
The family, the Christian community, friends and loved ones of the late Apostle Mark Nyako and Mrs. Victoria Nyako wishes to invite friends and loved ones and all sympathizers to a one-week observation at the Numa Christian Center, 87 Beddington Lane, Croydon, postcode CR040D. The event will take place on Friday, the 6th of October, 2023 from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Buses 466 and 463 ply that route. And if you want to travel on a tram, Beddington Lane is a stop for you. Also, there's going to be free parking there. For further information, please contact Evelyn on 075 5483 8421, Kojo 073 7592 8737, or Sheila on 079 8358 1818. and mourn with us, even as we celebrate the lives of the late Apostle Mark Nyako and Mrs. Victoria Nyako. God bless you and see you all there.
SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
The best radio show. The best radio show.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
Around the world. In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
This is Starr Radio UK. Are you ready to turn it up?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Smile, though your heart is aching. Smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. Hey, this is Archie and you are listening to Starr Radio UK and The Morning Show.
And The Morning Show.
This is Starr Radio. This is UK. Starr Radio UK. This is Starr Radio UK.
Welcome.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
Enlighten your day with Starr Radio. Starr Radio. Radio for the people, by the people.
You make a doll they fade. Jesus, and that's what makes you You hold the world in your hand.
Okay, let me say massive good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth. And those of you on other planets as well, I want to salute each and every one of you and welcome you to the Monday edition of the morning show. As some would say, Happy New Month to you. Today is the second day of the 10th month, that is October 2023, with the time now 10:42 from the House of London. And it is the Monday edition of the morning show, of course, on Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. We are transmitting live on all our social media platforms, and I want to welcome each and every one of you this morning to this wonderful show. But let me take this opportunity to say good morning to my team this morning. Mr. Olayomi, Koiki, good morning. My able producer, Mr. Francis Guy, massive good morning to you. HRH Linda Pallien, good morning. Yes, Antoa, good morning. And Mr. Pallien as well, all the way in Cyprus. Yes, good morning to you.
Great are you, Lord. Great are
And another good morning to Felix all the way in Aberdeen. Kojo D, yes, it was nice catching up with you over the weekend. Mr. Frank Davis in town as well. Massive good morning to you. Kofi Ali Abdul Yakin, good morning. Dr. Morton, good morning. Mr. Malik Dramani Mahama, I salute you. All the way in Nigeria, Bishop Adeshina, I salute you, man of God. And thank you very much for joining us each time. And all the staff at RBS, we salute you and we welcome you once again to this wonderful edition of the morning show. Pastor Mo, good morning to you. Rachel, how are you? Anjana Dibeji Aziz, good morning to you. Olakule, good morning. You are and let me put it this way, all protocol observed. Once again, welcome to the program Starr Radio UK, to my sister-in-law Rosita all the way in the US. Yes, good morning to you and to your lovely husband Alfred. Salute you all. I hope you're going to be having a nice time. All right then. My baby sister Delta, good morning to you and thanks for that lovely message yesterday as well. Okie dokie. For those of you who have tuned in for the first time on the program, on the morning show, this is how the program goes on the Monday morning. I'll be bringing you the quote for the day, the weather forecast will follow suit, then the travel update as well. We'll move from there to have a look at some of the stories making the rounds across the globe. It's known as Global Trotting. Then after that, we continue to look at some of the stories making the rounds from Nigeria this morning. Over the weekend, whatever pertains there took place, we're going to be bringing that your way with updates from Nigeria, where Mr. Olayomi will be joining us from our North London studios to bring you that. After that, we continue with looking at all the other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world, from archaeology to zoology, from Accra to Zanzibar. It's making the headlines. We're going to be touching on it. Then at 12 o'clock, we open the lines for you to add your voice to the discussions. However, if you have any comments or anything that you want to post or make known, feel free to put it on all the platforms that we are broadcasting on: Facebook, YouTube, X, and all the others. And I promise you one thing for sure, I'm going to read that. Okay, then after that, we'll move on. At 12:30, we'll bring the first part of the program to a close, where I take you to Cyprus, where HRH Linda Pallien will be lining herself up to bring you Career 101. After that, we'll bring the curtains down for the end of the program. So in a gist, that's what's going to be happening this morning. But once again, I say welcome to the show, Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, for those of you who are watching live, you can see my name underneath the on the banner underneath. However, if you don't know, now you know. I am the one and only
This is the morning show with Archie.
Well. Welcome once again. So let's crack on. Now, you either make a choice to spend the day wisely, preparing yourself for the future, or you don't. So which of them do you want to do? Just think about it. Share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages as well. Starr Radio UK. All of you now, when it comes to the weather front, this is what we got for you this morning. What is happening on the weather front this morning? For those of us in the London and the southeast of England area, this afternoon we'll see largely cloudy conditions and a few spells of rain will move in from the west at times. Now, this may become thundery in places. Now, this evening we'll see a few further heavy thundery downpours, but it will turn drier for a time overnight with a few brief clear spells forming and light rain arriving through the early hours as well. Tropical temperature is going to be 23 degrees, the lowest is going to be 13 degrees, UV level is going to be low, pollution is going to be low, sunset 18:37 and sunrise for tomorrow morning 07:02 hours. And that brings us to the end of the weather forecast. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, let's move on straight to the travel updates as well. But wherever you are, stay tuned.
This is Radio UK.
Okay. So what is happening on your travel this morning? For those of you who are using the roads this morning, the major roads in London, I can tell you assuredly, N316 has got serious delays. So if you can avoid it, do your best to avoid it. However, all the others have got no exceptional delays. Now moving on straight to the underground as well. Apart from the Bakerloo line that's got severe delays between Stonebridge Park and Harrow and Wilston due to an earlier faulty train at Lambeth North. Minor delays to the rest of the line as well. All the others are in good service. DLR, London Tramlink and London Overground, good service there. The river bus is running a good service apart from the Woolwich Ferry that's got a reduced service there. However, all the others, as I said, good service. Also on the London Cable Car, we're running a good service there as well. And that brings us straight to the final segment of the travel update, and that is the National Rail. Boy, oh boy. Now, let me bring you the ones that are running a good service. So, the ones that I would not mention mean that they are not running a good service. Let us do you good? Right. Okay, so first out trains, First Trans, Pennine Express, Grand Central, Great Western Railway, Heathrow Express, London North Eastern Railway, Lumo, Good Northern Rail, ScotRail, South Eastern, West Midlands trains are all running good service. All the ones that I've not mentioned are either running minor or special services, so check before you embark on your journey. So let me put it this way, as I would normally do. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth. Enjoy your comment for today, but you know what? Continue to keep those eyes on the roads.
SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, on this Monday edition of the morning show. And I am Archie, as I did say earlier on, and it is now time for Global Trotting. So wherever you are, don't touch the dial, just keep your dial still locked down. Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. So what is happening when it comes to Nigeria? We're still waiting for Yomi to join in, but these are some of the stories that is making the rounds. Tinubu gives go ahead for 35,000 naira addition to federal workers' wages. But the question that we've been asking is, these are federal workers, but there are some of the states that cannot afford that. So these are federal workers are going to be getting good up in their wages. However, the others, how do they? So majority of them. How many people work in with a federal department? Let me put it that way. Now, Labour to consider strike suspension reaches a 5-order resolution with the federal government, and let's see about that. And then Tinubu is not a magician. First Lady Remi Tinubu tells Nigerians, well, you need to know what he's gotten himself into there. The Independent say, your speech empty, bereft of ideas. PDP slams Tinubu. And then AGF, no plea bargain deal yet with MFLA. And BUA slashes price of cement to 3,500 naira. Tinubu's legal team gives reason for opposition to U.S. court verdict over release of academic records. Well, the banter continues. I will be telling you more about that. Good governance will stop military coups in West Africa, says Ganduje. I can't even agree with him that much there. Good governance. And is that what we are receiving or what we are getting as a people? Well. It's all Starr Radio. NDLEA naps wanted Kingpin Obiora Chigozi over London bound shipment. Well, what is all that about? More going to be coming your way. Breaking news as well. Wyeka appoints a new head. Maybe that will stop all the leakage of exams questions. We'll be seeing more about that. Well, as we did say, the president embarked on his journey to Nigeria for Nigeria's Independence Day. Now, Tinubu's independence speech, APC has no plan for Nigerians. That is what the PDP are saying about that. We'll be telling you more about that. How was the celebration? It was said that it was scaled down, but how did you see it all? It's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Starr, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in the UK. Okay. In other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world, Rwandan diplomat criticizes UK's migration policy while covertly filmed in another segment of the led by Donkeys investigation, which was conducted by journalist Anthony Barnett. Justin Bisinji says it is immoral. Well, we'll tell you more about that. You know, in people's closets, the things that they say, I tell you, if you got your ears there, boy, oh boy, what people might be saying about Archie, what people might be saying about you, boy, you don't want to know. Okay, new Gabon President General Brice Oligui Nguema visits Congo. Well, is making a move, and Libya's eastern authorities postpone planned Dena reconstruction conference. Wow. Now, thousands celebrate the departure of French ambassador from Niger. It's one of the stories making the rounds there as well. And Madagascar opposition rally denied. And DRC opponent Fayulu confirms presidential bid as well. So we'll be telling you more about all that. At least 9 dead after shaft collapses in a gold mine. I'll be telling you where. That is in Zimbabwe. We'll be telling you more about all that in a moment. But it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. Well, we didn't get good news coming from Ghana this morning. E.T. Mensah, former sports minister, he was a mayor of London, mayor of Accra as well, has passed. And also Theresa Kufuor, the former first lady, wife of President Kufuor, the former President Kufuor has also passed. Well, so two big deaths there, and we say to the family our sincere condolences, and may their souls rest in perfect peace, if there's anything of the sort. Now, MVP polls, Kwame Japan predicts victory for Bawumia. Is it obvious? Well. And we have the firebrand Kennedy Japan saying all sorts. And how do you see Kennedy Japan? Maybe somebody like that can be a good president for us. Maybe that's one of the presidents that we need. He will be a somebody in democracy, civilian government. However, welding a very strong hand and not taking no nonsense, making sure that if we say we are doing that, we are doing that. What do you think about that? Maybe that's the kind of person that we need, not somebody who is all gentleopo, but beneath him or her, all nonsense seem to be going on. What do you think about that? Well, he's not, when it comes to his utterance, he just spews it like no man's business. But what do you think? He's not coming away from Starr Radio, okay, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, when it comes to other parts of the world as well, what's happening there? Okay, in other parts of the world, 10 dead as Mexico church roof collapses at baptism. Now, if you look at the pictures here, virtually the roof has, virtually on the pews. And it's quite a sad one. 3 children are among those killed during the ceremony in coastal city of Ciudad Madero. So are they going to say that it was God who maybe was calling them or taking them away, or what? Or it's negligence that have caused this. So when they were constructing that, at times we do things haphazardly, and we think that, oh yes, because it's God, it's okay, it's religion, so it's all right. It is not all right. Right things need to be done. So those of you who are religious, when even God was telling Moses in the Bible to build the tabernacle, he gave him measurement. He told him the sort of material that they need to use, blah, 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 blah. Why? Because he thought that if writings are not done, it could cause this, it could cause fire, it could break down, it could hurt people and all stuff. But we don't see that. What do you think about all that? It's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. Biden vowed to stand by Ukraine despite budget fiasco. U.S. support cannot be interrupted after military aid was excluded from a budget deal. And Turkey strikes Kurdish rebels after Ankara blast. Those are some of the stories making the round. Whoosh! Indonesia opens China back high-speed rail. Some of the stories making the round. And fire at Egypt police building injures at least 38. Around 50 ambulances sent to facility with people being treated for asphyxiation and burns. Biles make history on World Championship return. Simone Biles becomes the first woman to execute Yurchenko double pike vault on her return to the World Gymnastics Championship in Antwerp. That's one of the stories making the rounds. And Trump is expected to attend civil fraud trial opening. Well, a lot more going to be coming your way from there. It is All Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. In other stories as well, John Lewis boss to step down after 5 years. Dame Sharon White will leave at the end of her term, making her the shortest serving chair in the retailer's history. She's done well for herself. Because the black woman, in that particular, the first time I saw her, I thought, wow. But she did it. Well, people will say that, but things have changed. Things have really changed. Honestly, things have really changed. But let's see. And water firms want bill rises to deal with leaks and spills. And teachers on buses has crashed people's return to school. The head teacher of Calday Grange Grammar says there is angst about traveling to school. A man bailed over sycamore gap tree felling. Detectives continue to investigate after the world's famous Hadrian's Wall tree was cut down. Those are some of the stories making the rounds. But if you are here in the UK, Jeremy Hunt says taxes too high but won't come down this year. What did Trust say this time last year? Well, he said that it's all we need to cut down the taxes. And this morning or today, Liz Truss, the former or the shortest, the second shortest ever Prime Minister for the UK, will be also giving a speech. Truss returns to play a different role, but her views are unchanged. What do you think is going to happen there? Lots more going to be coming your way. It is Starr Radio UK. 11 o'clock the time. Starr Radio UK, the station. Let's enjoy this song. It is from Eli J. And he says what? Okay, just bear with me. He says what? Hallowed be your name. This is the man that you saved. This is the man that you saved. So wherever you are, don't touch the dial. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Aha! Put your hands together, come on! We worship you, Lord. Open hands, we say, we lift our voices and say, hallowed be your name. Whatever comes our way, we lift our voices and say, hallowed be. Sing it all around the world. Oh Lord, the one who is to come. We lift our voices and say, hallowed be your name. Dear Lord,
This is Starr Radio.
We lift our voices and say, hallowed be your name. With a grateful heart, come on. If you feel voice, say, Jesus, Jesus, you never fail. You never fail. You are just the same. The same. Yesterday, today. Take a look at me, the one you say. Oh Lord, hallowed be your name. Lift up your voices and say, Jesus, Jesus, you never fail. You will never fail. You are just the same. The same. Yesterday, today. Take a look at me, the one you say. Oh Lord, hallowed be. Has He saved you? Put your hands together, come on. Oh Lord, to the mighty God, to all the world that is to come. Come on, come on. Put your hands together. We worship you, Lord Jesus. Oh, we'll take that one more time now. With open hands, we say, wave your hands to Him. We lift our voices and say, hallowed be your name. Dear Lord, no one, whatever comes our way.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Hallowed be your name. Oh my, the one who is to come. Are you ready to meet Him? We lift our voices and say, hallowed be your name. Oh dear Lord, the beginning and the end. We lift our voices and say, hallowed be your name. Say, lift up your voices and say, Jesus, Jesus, you never fail. You will never fail. You are just the same. Always the same, Lord. Yesterday, today. Oh Lord, take a look at me, the one you say. I know you have testimonies. Oh Lord, hallowed be. Sing to the great and mighty God. Lift up your voices and say, Jesus, Jesus.
This is Starr Radio UK.
You have never failed. You are just the same. Oh, just the same. Yesterday, what a beautiful Lord you are. Take a look at us. Look at me, the one you say. Oh Lord, hallowed be. Oh, all around the world, lift up your voices and say, Jesus, Jesus, you never fail. You will never fail. You are just the same. The same, Lord. Yesterday, today. Dear Lord, take a look at me, the one you say. Oh Lord, hallowed be your name. Yeah. Jesus, Jesus, you have never failed. You will never fail. You are just the same.
never fails. So maybe somewhere, somehow, well, things have not gone the way that you were hoping that it would go. But somewhere, somehow, he has kept and sustained you. Whatever you believe in, somewhere, somehow. So, yes, that is from Eli J. from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. And I'm taking this opportunity to congratulate our own Mr. Dan Tabiri, CEO of GIL Accountancy Services, and lovely wife, Mrs. Evelyn Tabiri, on the celebration of their 20th anniversary, wedding anniversary, wow, marriage anniversary. Yeah, congratulations. But wherever you are this morning, we want to welcome you once again to the Starr Radio UK. The Monday edition of the morning show. 7 minutes past the top of the hour at a time. Share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages, even as you still wait for Mr. Olayomi Koiki to join in.
My beautiful Jesus, come on. Jesus, Jesus, you never fail. You have never failed.
Starr.
Take a look at me, the one you say, the one you say.
This is Starr Radio.
My Jesus, you never failed. You are just the same. My yesterdays and today. Take a look at them, look at us, what you say. Hallowed be your
The family, the Christian community, friends and loved ones of the late Apostle Mark Nyako and Mrs. Victoria Nyako wishes to invite friends and loved ones and all sympathizers to a 1-week observation at the Numa Christian Center, 87 Beddington Lane, Croydon, postcode CR040D. The event will take place on Friday, the 6th of October, 2023 from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Buses 466 and 463 ply that route. And if you want to travel on a tram, the Beddington Lane is a stop for you. Also, there's going to be free parking there. For further information, please contact Evelyn on 075-5483-8421, Kojo 073-7592-8737, or Sheila on 079-8358-1818. Come and mourn with us, even as we celebrate the lives of the late Apostle Mark Nyako and Mrs. Victoria Nyako. God bless you and see you all there. Welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, we play on whilst we still wait for Mr. Olayomi Koiki to join in. I think it's been held up with something, but don't you worry. Once we have him on, we will let him join in and he will bring you all that you need to know when it comes to the updates from Niger. All right then. Okay. So let's continue. Let me bring you what is happening in Nigeria, or what happened in the Tinubu speech that the APC, the PDP, has come out to perpetuate. All right. So the People's Democratic Party yesterday said the 63rd Independence Day address by the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is empty. bereft of ideas and merely aspirational, considering the harrowing life discounting experiences being encountered by Nigerians under the All Progressive Congress, that's the APC administration. Okay, we'll be bringing Yomi to you in a moment. He's at the courts and okay for the Allison case. So he will be bringing us the updates. He'll be bringing us updates from the courts this morning. So just bear with us even as we do so. Just bear with me. Okay, so he will not bring us the updates now, but he'll be joining us during the course of the program. So just bear with us whilst we continue with it, because he cannot speak during the court proceedings. Okay, now so the PDP said that Nigerians do not need to pass through agonizing hardship as being excused by President Tinubu if the nation is run by a government that has the required vision and skills to harness and manage our economic potentials. The national comparative advantage and expanded value chain that abound in the vast but dormant productive sector. The National Publicity Secretary of the PDP, Honorable Debo Olugunagba, in a statement which replied Tinubu's Independence Day speech, said Nigerians expected a presidential speech that would provide concrete solutions to critical challenges facing the nation in areas of security, electricity, and petroleum sectors. Now, Olugunagba said any serious government will requisite capacity and vision, will set a Marshall Plan on every critical sector which has the capacity to galvanize and stimulate the economy through job creation. Our party holds that the manifest non-preparedness and hasty implementation of ill-planned policies by the current APC administration triggered a catastrophic economic failure with unprecedented crippling effects on the productive sector and agonizing hardship on Nigerians. Okay, the case of the former oil minister started here in London at 10 a.m. So we'll be monitoring it very, very closely. And Yomi is going to be bringing us proceedings from there. But it is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, so moving on straight to some of the other stories. My question here this morning is, what do you think about the president's speech? Does it give you hope? That doesn't make the NLC think, you know what, we think that the president's speech has actually, sorted everything or given us a clearer vision of what is going to happen. And therefore, we are going to be relaxing. What do you think about all that? Well, it is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. Well. When it comes to the updates of the lady in court at the moment that we want to talk about, yes. She is a flight risk. That's a former minister for petroleum. The courts are saying that she is a flight risk according to the judge. So we are waiting for more details. And as I did say, Yomi is going to be telling us: is she going to be getting granted bail, or is she going to be kept in? And again, now what the money is, even if she's taken to Nigeria, what the money is that she's alleged to have stolen, be able to be retrieved. You got it? Okay. It's all coming away from Starr Radio UK, as I did say. So just bear with us whilst we go on. But let me bring you some other stories that is making the rounds. Well, pertaining to what Ganduje has said about good governorship. Now, good governance will stop military coups in West Africa, says Ganduje. Now, the national chairman of the All Progressive Congress, APC, Alhaji Abdullahi Ganduje, has urged African leaders to deliver on good governance as a way of reducing the incidences of military coups in West Africa. Ganduje made this known when he received a delegation from the ruling party in Ghana. the New Patriotic Party, led by its national chairman, Mr. Stephen Inting. He noted the long historical affinity between Nigeria and Ghana. It will be apt for the ruling parties of both countries to share ideas on delivering good governance to their citizens. He noted that with good governance system in place, the masses will be ones to resist any military incursions that could derail democratic rule. This kind of visit is important and good to help us exchange ideas on how to deliver good governance to the people, and it can even reduce tide of military incursions that we are witnessing recently. Now, while we are discouraging military coups, we must improve our governance system. When this is done, the masses will be the first to even resist any such military intervention, the APC chairman said. And how lovely to say such. But when it comes to the actions, I ask myself the questions, are they actually seeing to that at all? At all. He described that, okay, this, he said, was especially because Ghana and Nigeria shared same values and political history. Ganduje said the relationship between both countries was long-standing, noting that they passed through same colonial masters and shared some same national language. My apologies. He recalled how both countries secured independence from Britain without shedding blood and spoke English as official language, which further strengthens their bond with francophone neighbors. He said the Ghana ruling party national chairman was breaking the ice by developing a strong tie between leaders of political parties in the region. The team earlier congratulated Ganduje on his emergence as APC national chairman and Nigeria on a 63rd independence anniversary. We are happy and proud to be sharing this day with you. It signals greater days ahead, and we hope you want to reciprocate this visit, he said. He told Ganduje it will be significant for the APC and the MPP to be sharing ideas on enthroning good governance so that parties will remain in power for many more years. It's quite interesting. It's quite interesting there. Now, but he's touched on good governance as a way of stopping the incursions of coup d'etat in a sub-region. Okay? And I can't agree with him much there. You know, because the thing is, we talk about democracy. So when you say anything, they say, "Oh yeah, it's democracy." You have to wait for the next whatever the term, the tenure is, whether it's 4 years or 5 years. You have to wait till that time, and then you vote the people out. And those who are in power and train themselves in positions, they do everything. They control all the system or the institutions that sees to the free and fair election that's supposed to be taking place. And then when that happens, you ask yourself the question, so what exactly is happening on the ground? Because this is a case where they use that same laws, that is the rule of law, to their advantage, and use that same law to siphon and to stamp down on the citizens. But well, maybe this time round they are seeing what is happening and thinking that they need to wake up and do the right thing. But what do you think about all that? Is what coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. As I said, Yomi will be joining us. He's in the court at the moment for a reportage there, and he'll be bringing us more about that. Let me say good morning once again to my Bishop Adeshina Adeyemo. Good morning to all the staff at the RBS office in Lagos, Nigeria. As I salute you. It said Nadeco Group advised President Tinubu to resign amid certificate scandal. Well, we'll be bringing you more about that as well. But wherever you are, don't you go away. Let's take a quick commercial break. Let me have a sip of water and then we'll continue. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Updates from Nigeria. Stay tuned.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Vedasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over. Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over. Yo, what's up, people? This is a boy Raskin Bobo One. Tune in every day, every night at the Starr Radio UK with the big man them Archie. When I say Orta, you say fire.
Welcome back to the program. Updates from Nigeria. 11:22 the time. As I did say earlier on, Olayomi Koiki is in the courts. They bringing a reportage to you pertaining to the former petroleum minister who is in the courts here in London pertaining to what? Corruption. Okay. The judge is saying that she is a flight risk, but as whether that is going to be warranting her incarceration or not being denied bail, we'll be bringing you more about that. Bishop Adesina is also bringing us more stories from Nigeria as well. So Nigeria Naira now 1,100 to $1. We have told them ahead of about 4 months ago. We are now justified. Yoruba people, our economy has salvation awaiting them in Ruba currency. Anyway, it is a choice. Of course, it is a choice. It's up to those of you listening in to see whether you want to invest in the Ruba or so go on with what is happening with the dollar, the Naira pertaining to the dollar and everything that is going on. Then what is the way forward? That's the president's speech. During the 63rd Independence Day, give you any hope? And that's the statement of the APC chairman, party chairman, national chairman, also Ganduje, also give you some hope where he's talking to the Ghana ruling party chairman as well, who is also saying that, look, we think that the best way forward is to have good governance, and that will stop any of the occurrences that's pertaining to the coup d'etat that is happening in the sub-region to stop. Or, I mean, people standing up against it. Because if I'm living a good life, if I'm okay, if I'm not saying that I should be living an opulent life. I mean, even that we have that of what do you call it, Gaddafi, which I talk about all the time. Back in the day, when we talk about Libya, boy, oh boy, there's a person who said that he was able, or he could be given the whole of the African continent loans where they will not pay interest, and that like what the Arabs or the Islamic religion teaches, where you give a loan to your neighbors, so you don't take interest from it, so you give it to them, they go to use it for whatever, and then they bring the monies back. And he was advocating for something of the sort. So that showed how good the economy of Libya was, and for him to say we will be able to do that. But then some people who are thinking, well, we're not being given the chance to be able to also run for presidency, though we are living good lives, we need to get the president out, and they managed through the Wests to get him out, killed him. And now look at Libya, and look at people crossing the Mediterranean, and they are crying it was their own cause. They caused it. That's why I talk about foreign policies. Okay. Oladimeji Oyeyemi, good morning to you. Yes, Mr. Koiki will be joining us pretty soon. He's still in the courts. He cannot speak there. So once he's out, he'll be bringing you more of what we need to know from there. Okay. Now let's come to, as Bishop Adesina said, that Nadeko is saying that advising the president to resign due to his certificate scandal that is going on. The legal team of President Bola Tinubu has opposed the verdict of the United States District Court in Northern District of Illinois regarding the release of his academic records. Now, the court on Sunday had ruled in favor of the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, and ordered the Chicago State University to release President Tinubu's academic record by Monday. That's today. The magistrate Jeffrey Gilbert had ordered Tinubu's alma mater to provide all relevant and non-privileged documents to Atiku's legal team within 2 days. Now, Tinubu's record of entrance and acceptance at the Chicago State University, days of attendance, as well as the degrees, prizes, and honors Tinubu received from the CSU are among the documents requested by the PDP candidate through his attorney, Angela Liu. Now, as the magistrate's deadline drew nearer, Tinubu's attorney petitioned the U.S. High Court, arguing that the magistrate's earlier judgment needed to be reviewed by a district judge. In the wake of the court's verdict, Tinubu, in an application filed by his New York-based lawyer Oluwole Folabi, revealed the reason for his opposition to the verdict. First is that his academic records in issue are not useful in Nigeria's courts, as claimed by Atiku, because the Nigerian election proceedings and the Nigerian court have explicitly been unreceptive to the discovery. Now, his second reason is that Atiku's request is unduly intrusive because it allows the applicant, Atiku, to conduct a fishing expedition into the intervener's private, confidential, and protected educational records. Now, balanced fearless journalist, okay, so, well, if you like what, my apologies. Well, so that seems to be what is going on there. But whether, so if you're going to look for a job and they tell you that bring your CV, and then you send your CV and they say that we're going to be checking your records because maybe we're not sure about the university and whatever you're talking about, or we think there are some gaps in there. What is wrong with it? So the question is, what has Tinubu got to hide? As someone saying it will be injurious to his image. But well, I don't believe that. But who knows? All sorts goes on. But well, so Nadeko is saying, please resign, because we think that if not, either your certificate is all bonkers or whatever it is. Now, my husband is not a magician. Tinubu's wife urges Nigerians to be patient. Say it's a weak economy. It's not that the husband is not a magician. It's going to take a bit of time for that to happen. By a statement or the speech that he gave brought in that people are thinking, nah. He is not looking at the interests of the people. So the First Lady Remi Tinubu has told Nigerians, hold on, my husband is not a magician. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, there was one other stories I'm going to bring your way, and then we will go on to others. And once we have Mr. Olayomi Koiki joining in, we will bring you the updates from the courts this morning. Okay, 11:30 the time. But I cannot go to war. Peter Obi rejects military intervention in Niger, cites reasons. He says that Peter Obi, the presidential candidate of Labour Party in the 2023 election, has said he is totally against military intervention as a process of leadership emergence. Obi made a statement on Monday while speaking on a show. He said, I cannot go to war with Niger Republic because you cannot go to war with another country when you have war in your own country. Obi said, the only war Nigeria needs is war on insecurity and war on economy. I will do anything within my powers to fight that war. The former Anambra State governor also commented on what approach he would have taken differently in resolving the looming strike by the Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress. Now, fuel subsidy is organized crime. I said it repeatedly that it should be removed. Obi said, for me, the approach would have been is to remove the corruption and criminal side of it and remove the excess demand. By doing this, you would have reduced it by 50%. The remaining 50% is what we would have been able to, and after consultation with various stakeholders, in order to find a way in an organized manner, remove and show the proceeds of the gains of the remover to be invested in critical development areas. Now, these comments comes at a time when there is growing tension between Niger and Nigeria following the coup d'etat in Niger in July. The ECOWAS heads of state had vowed to use force to dislodge the junta. Niger is to remain recalcitrant. Well, so let's see what is going to happen there. It is all Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, as I did ask earlier on, what do you think about the president's statement on the Nigeria 63rd anniversary independence celebration? What do you think about that? Let us know your thoughts about that. And will the NLC embark on? But it looks like they said they've come to some sort of a halt because they seem to be agreeing with the federal government pertaining to some 5 points, which I know that once we have Mr. Olayomi Koiki, he'll be bringing us more on that as well. Arrest inflation, provide infrastructure, industrialists urging the federal government. How are they going to arrest inflation? They don't have the the necessary accoutrement to arrest inflation. Inflation is running like no man's business. Well, Bishop Adesina says that 1,100 naira is equivalent to $1. Okay. What is the exchange rate for the pounds then? It will be more than that. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. It is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's move on. Yomi, once we have them, we'll be bringing you all that you need to know when it comes to some of the other stories making the rounds in Nigeria, but they will bring you updates from the courts. So don't go away. If you go away, you miss that. Okay, now Rwandan diplomat has criticized UK's migration policy while covertly being filmed. A video of Rwanda's High Commissioner to the United Kingdom has emerged in which he criticizes the British government migration policy. Now, Justin Businje was covertly filmed by a campaign group called Led by Donkeys in an undercover investigation unveiled on Saturday, September 30. I bet he's getting ready to be leaving his office. Boy, oh boy. Now, the former Justice Minister, who now has an ambassadorial level role, said British leaders needed to have a long-term migration policy when asked what he would say to Home Secretary or British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. They should have a long-term idea. Bosinje said they should have a long-term policy of making it a choice for people not to risk their lives coming to the UK, because right now many people are not coming here because of war in their country. No, they are coming here because they are hopeless. They're coming here because they have no future. In another segment of the Led by Donkeys investigation, which was conducted by journalist Anthony Barnett, Justin Businje says it is immoral for Britain to claim to be a compassionate country given its past in place including Africa, India and China. Boy, well, thank you very much, my bishop. Bishop Adesina says that £1 is equivalent to 1,350 naira. That's £1 sterling is equivalent to 1,350 naira. Boy, oh boy. I remember Bishop Adesina talking about that, saying that Nigeria is going to be going through some difficult time. And he was talking about it for the next 4 years, and then we are seeing the telltale signs. But maybe the president has got plans for it. What do you think about that? Well, I do say this all the time that the story about the blind men of Hindustan who went to see an elephant. Then depending on where you are standing, they were looking at the elephant, seeing it, describing it differently. One was saying that the elephant is like a spear. Why? Because they were holding the what do you call that? The horns. Okay, yeah. Okay, and then one was holding the nose and saying that the elephant is like a snake because they were holding the trunk, the nose. Okay, and one was feeling the side of the elephant and say, this elephant is like a wall. So depending on where you are standing. So, somebody is not think that, things are not going the way that's supposed to be. Or as the PDP did bash the statement of the president during the 63rd anniversary of Nigeria's independence. Now, what do you think? What do you think? Let us know. You can put it on our Facebook page, our YouTube channel, Twitter or X, as we do say, and all the platforms that we are broadcasting on. Those of you on all the sister platforms as well, I salute each and every one of you. Don't you go away. We continue to have a look at some of the stories making the rounds on the African continent. Now in Gabon's new strongman was greeted by the Congo Prime Minister upon arrival on Sunday, the 1st of October, at Olombo International Airport. He then met with President Denis Sassou Nguesso. Now, Olego said his visit was aimed at improving the ties and easing Gabon's international isolation following the coup. I have come to consult, to discuss, to exchange with President, who for us is a key in the region, who can relay to global authorities what we have done, Olego said after holding talks with Congo's President Denis Sassou Nguesso. The talks were held near Oyo in central Congo. It is also to ease the sanctions. We hope to once again take our place among the nations, Olego said. Now, Gabon was suspended from the African Union and the Economic Community of Central African States, the ECOWAS, after the change of government. ECOWAS has also ordered the immediate transfer of its headquarters from Gabon's Libreville to the Equatorial Guinea capital, Malabo. The Congo president did not address reporters after the talks, but his foreign minister, Jean-Claude Gakoso, hailed Olego as a man of humility and reconciliation. I think that the Gabonese should support him. Aside from the Gabonese, the Congolese also our brother in Central Africa, he said. We know that there was a change in Libreville. Gakoso said the main thing is that there was no bloodshed. We have rarely seen this, a forceful change of regime without bloodshed. The Congo and Gabon are in reality the same country. We have to work tirelessly, have good relations, he said. What do you think? Sassou Nguesso, he has the same template as Ali Bongo Ndimba. But he's saying that, you know what? Yeah, we think that So he centrates himself in power. He is the most sensible person in the country. And the thing is, I don't mind people entrenching themselves in power, being there, if the majority of the people, call it 90% of the people, are seeing or are enjoying the good work that you are doing. However, that does not seem to be the case or the situation here. So we have people who go on doing all sorts, and the people are impoverished and they are enriching themselves, their cronies, their friends, their families, and they keep on keeping on, and they have people suffering. But what do you think about all that? It is Starr Radio UK. Bishop Adesina says 20,000 naira now goes for 15,000 Cameroonian CFA, which was 5,000 naira to 20,000 CFA in 2017. And he ends by saying, God have mercy. Well, that shows the desperation and how dire the situation is. But what do you think about all that? Don't you go away. Starr Radio UK, 11:39 the time. And as I just say, Yomi is going to be joining us because he's in the courts where he's going to be bringing us updates from the hearing that is going on here in London pertaining to the former petroleum minister. Okay, so stay tuned. Well, as I did say earlier on, the judge has said that she's a flight risk, and that is a telltale sign that he's going to say that she cannot be granted a bill. But what do you think? Should she be let go or let off? After all, what? And if the money can be retrieved, why not? But we talk about all these people, and some are arrested, incarcerated. After they serve their term, they come out and they take the money and they go blow it. So they're just there for what, 5 years, 6 years? Okay, he undergoes, or he or she undergoes whatever punishment, and then after that they take the money and they go, because they said, I don't have the money, I've blown it. Meanwhile, it's been invested in some families or friends' businesses or wherever they might have kept that money. But it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. I don't know whether they will freeze all their assets and then sell them off to defray the debts that they have accrued, or whatever they have done to them. But well, it is Starr Radio UK. Now, in Niger, thousands of Nigerians gathered near France's military base in Niamey to celebrate the departure of Paris ambassador earlier this week, about a month after the military junta ordered him to leave. But anti-French activists say the battle is not yet over. The victory is not, if you like, a total victory for the revolution. It's only the beginning. We call on the entire population of Niger to mobilize as one until the last French soldier leaves Niger, said demonstrator Mohamed Abdul Latif. Another activist, Ibrahim Boubacar, had agreed to that. We are overjoyed, but just because the ambassador has gone doesn't mean that we are going to stay at home and say it's all over. We've won. Now we're going to continue the fight, he said. They are now waiting for France to withdraw its around 1,500 soldiers from Niger, which Paris says will take place before the end of the year, in what will be a blow to its influence in the country. We are more or less satisfied with the timetable for the withdrawal, said fellow demonstrator Isaka Tondi Tassio. Now, knowing a bit about logistics, its equipment that has been deployed over 12 years, installations and so on, so dismantling it, packing it up and taking it away takes a bit of time. It's a bit of, he understands a bit there, so it takes a bit of time for all that to happen. But it's all coming away from Starr Radio, okay? It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. 7 soldiers killed in Niger as well in a suspected jihadist attack. So what is the way forward for them now? Well, we had last week we had the what do you call it, the mercenary group Wagner, new leader, should I put it that way? But he's not going to be coming to see to Wagner in on the African continent. He is going to go to see to those mercenaries, the Wagner group, who are fighting in Ukraine. That's what it looks like. But what do you think? So how is Niger going to see to combat this insurgency or these terrorist activities that is going on there? It's quite sad, isn't it? But well, this is all coming away from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Can I have a bit of water there? Yes, but we'll be going on. Don't you worry. I'll be having a sip of some water in a moment. The opponent, Martin Fayulu, who has maintained suspense in recent weeks, confirmed on Saturday in Kinshasa that his candidacy for the presidential election of December 20 in the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC. He will face the current president, Felix Tshisekedi, in power since January 2019, a candidate for re-election. The Lamuka coalition, Wake Up in Lingala, decided to run for president, Fayulu told reporters. We will continue to fight for transparency in election. We did not get it by the audit of the electoral register. We will have it in the surveillance of the vote, added the opponent. We say for 5 years that the victory was stolen during the presidential election on December 2018. By July 2022, his party, that is the a seat there, that is Engagement for Citizenship and Development, which belongs to the Lamuka Coalition, had made Martin Fayulu his official candidate for the next presidential election, coupled with legislative provincial elections. Well, it is all coming away from Starr Radio UK. Let's take a commercial break and we come back and we continue with the show. Stay tuned and don't you go away. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Bringing the time now to exactly 13 minutes to 12, and we are bringing you some of the other stories making the rounds. But as I said earlier on, we'll be having Mr. Olayomi Koiki joining us from the courts, so don't you go away. You don't want to miss that at all. The former Petroleum Minister of Nigeria is in court, where the judge so far, from some of the statement that he's making, has made a statement that she is a flight risk and therefore will, not concluded, but I can say that will not be granted bail, because if she's a flight risk, then that means that there's a tendency that she will bolt. But what do you think? All right. But this is all coming away from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's move on and let's have a look at some of the rest of the stories making the rounds. But let me say thank you very much to each and every one of you who have joined us this morning. We know by this time Yomi would have been on bringing you all the updates that you need, but at the moment he's not on. But I can tell you assuredly he's going to be on before definitely we bring the program to a close there. So come your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, in Burkina Faso, partisans demonstrate in support to junta 1 year post-coup. It's quite interesting. And the story says, 1 year after the coup that brought Captain Ibrahim Traoré to power in Burkina Faso, people rallied in the streets of Ouagadougou to show their support to the military leader. When he seized power, Captain Traoré set himself 2 to 3 months to improve security and regain control of the jihadist attack plagued West African nation. In this 1 year, we've really seen a lot of change. There's been a lot of change. There have been fewer attacks, fewer displaced people, and he's taking a step that really goes to my heart. Opening factories for young people and Burkina Faso is really incredible. Rejoiced Aicha Oderago demonstrator said. Now, 1 year on, very satisfactory record, and no Burkina Faso can say otherwise, because Foremost, we can see what the captain has already done and put a lot of villages back in place. That's already an achievement for us, and we are proud of him. We trust him. We know we're going to win this war against evildoers, added a demonstrator, Maxime Zongo. Now, since taking power, the new regime has focused on a strong security response to the attacks by groups affiliated to Al Qaeda and the Islamic State. Well, kudos to him and his government as well. What I'm trying to say here is that if the leadership is doing everything that the citizenry can actually attest to it, look, I look back a year ago or 6 months ago, and I can see that there's been an improvement in my life. Not because I had to do dodgy stuff, but genuinely I'm going about my duty, and then I have to go to work, and I can see that my life is better off than what I saw, or yes, back 6 months ago, a year ago, 5 years ago. Why not? That means that the person is doing what they're supposed to do. But when we don't see that, and all that they do come to give us fancy speeches, using all the rhetorics and what do they even call it? My friend would say, using big grammar, then boy oh boy, they failed us. But well, they failed us. What do you think about that? The president of Ghana has said, okay, that African leaders, or especially those in the West African area who are having a conference, a meeting in Ghana, in the Winneba region, it's not a region, in Winneba, he admonished leaders in the region, the sub-region, not to extend their tenure in office. And it's quite interesting. So he just took one side of it. That's why I like what Ganduje is saying. Though it's a statement that he's made, and somebody will say that, well, it's up to them to prove it. Words are just words, but you have to add action to it. So the question here, once again, is what other measures does he think has to be put in place to make sure that there are no coup d'etats and stuff like that there? Because it's not only extension of your tenure, but when people can see that people have been put in positions or voted into positions, and they are what actually, somebody say wantonly, or as the Ghanaians would say, gigantually, let me put it this way, chopping funds of the state, siphoning it like no man's business, like there's no tomorrow, then boy oh boy, if we have anybody, any man who is bold enough to say, look, we don't want you, we want you out, and they oust them, and then people will support them. But he's saying that, you know what, one of the things that causes coup d'etats, because I think he was looking at what has happened in Congo, Gabon, that was one of the things, because the Gabonese leader at the time had entrenched himself there. That is Ali Bongo Ondimba. But what do you think? Well, so he's made a statement. But as I did say earlier on, action always speaks louder than words. There are some sad stories making the rounds in Ghana. I'll be bringing that your way. But for now, just stay tuned. Let's continue to look at some of the other stories making the rounds there as well. Now, interestingly, that is a government entity. The Bulk Oil Storage and Transportation Limited Company, BOSS, has issued a statement addressing recent reports regarding its acquisition of 18 iPhone 13 Pro Max devices for corporate executives, clarifying the actual cost of the purchase. In their response, BOSS acknowledged the procurement of the iPhones for their corporate executives in May of the previous year. Now, contrary to the reported cost of over 28 million Ghana cedis, BOSS clarified that the total expense for the phones amounted to 234,000 Ghana cedis, which when accounting for taxes equaled 284,412.16 pesos. Now, this accurate figure had been properly documented in the company's financial report. Furthermore, boss emphasized that their financial report had undergone scrutiny by the Auditor General and no adverse findings were identified regarding this transaction. Addressing the discrepancies in the report amount, boss explained that the figure of 28.54 million was due to a typographical error, specifically the misplacement of a decimal point, which inadvertently inflated the cost in the initial report. So, well, for your information, those number of iPhones that were bought amounted to 285,412.16 p. All right then. So, well, a bit of clarification there, because everybody was, gun blazing, saying how much? Okay. Now, in other stories, got a couple of stories going to be coming away from Ghana as well. The Minister of Sanitation and Water Resources, Dr. Frida Prempe, has urged district assemblies to prosecute residents who flout the environmental sanitation laws to serve as a deterrent to others. Now, until some drastic actions are taken by the assemblies against residents who flout your bylaws, it will be difficult to protect the people against diseases that cannot be avoided, she stated. Now, Dr. Prempe gave the advice in an interview at Tema Station in Accra, when she toured the Korle Klote municipality as part of the national cleanup exercise, which coincided with the World Cleanup Day. The exercise on the theme Cleaning for Safe, Healthy and Sustainable Ghana saw the participation of drivers, market women and traders, among others. The minister said assembly members, churches, market women and community leaders must encourage the people to attach special importance to environmental sanitation issues in their communities. She said embracing change called for active participation of all to complement the government efforts in solid waste management to keep Accra clean. She expressed worry over the low communal spirit among Ghanaians, which retard development. Well, Dr. Prempe later toured some flood-prone areas in the Ablekuma West, including Dansuman, Mpuase, Mamponse, and Glefe, to acquaint herself with the extent of damage caused by the recent rains. Apart from people building on waterways, others have made it a habit to dump waste at unauthorized places to avoid paying fees to the assemblies, which she said had resulted in health challenges to residents. Now, I have a question there, but let me finish. She cited tricycle waste collectors as the major cause of the situation and called on assemblies to be vigilant to arrest perpetrators while serving warning to stop the burning of refuse at night in those areas. Because the issue here is that now, if the cost of disposing waste is manageable, everybody will want to do so. But when the cost is high, and actually you look at what people are earning vis-a-vis what they have to pay for all the various things that they have to use or spend to survive, then for them to now pay a huge sum, or comparatively to their economy, the individual's economy, or those in such situations economy, they are looking at it as a huge amount, and therefore will not do so. So when the moment there is a rainfall, they look right, they look left, look up, look down, nobody's watching them, they tip it, and then they go. And that is something that brings about the blockage. And after the rain, actually, we have flies and everything, and there is the outbreak of diseases and all those stuff. But what is the local assemblies doing? What are they doing about it? Are they providing adequate dump sites or places or means of people to dispose of their waste, if that is done, why not? Even here in advanced country, we have situations where you go to some places, some areas, and you see that it's been littered and stuff like that. Why? Especially when they've not got disposable bits there. So most of the areas when you go, you see that they've got the bins very close proximities, so people can put whatever. You had a banana, you had something, you have a paper, you just put it in there. But there are others who I can say that they though they have it there, the disposable bins or whatever around by them, they will still chuck things on the floor, and those are people that I will want the laws to deal with. But when majority of the people are doing that, then you need to ask yourself the question, why are they doing that? What are the push factors? Listeners, it's 12 o'clock and it is the Monday edition of the morning show. Starr Radio UK. We're going to be taking a musical break soon, but let me bring you two of these sad stories from Ghana. And this pertains to the former First Lady. The wife of the former President, John Agyekum Kufuor, Teresa Kufuor, has died at the age of 88. According to sources, the former First Lady was not too well for some time, has not been too well for some time now. The retired nurse and midwife died yesterday, the 1st of October 2023, 24 days to her 89th birthday. And we say, may her soul rest in perfect peace, and to the former president and his family, our sincere condolences there as well. And then another story there, another sad one as well. Former member of parliament for Ningo Pram constituency and council of state member Eti Mensah has died age 77. One died age 88, one died age 77. 11 years difference. Right. Now, according to sources, the veteran politician passed on in South Africa on Sunday, October 1, 2023, after being on support at the Netcare Hospital for a few weeks now. Enoch Mensah, born 17 May 1946, is a Ghanaian politician. He was a minister for education and a member of parliament in Ghana from January 1997 till January 2017. Now, he is popularly referred to as E.T. Mensah. During the time of the PNDC military regime in Ghana, he was a long-time chief executive of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. Akin to being the mayor of the city of Accra, he joined the National Democratic Congress when it was formed in 1992. He also stood for the Ghanaian parliamentary election in 1996 and was elected MP for the Ningo Pram constituency, holding the seat for almost a decade. After the NDC lost the 2000 election, he continued as a member of parliament. Mensah lost the NDC primaries to Sam George on the 21st of November 2015. He once served as the minority chief whip in parliament prior to the Ghanaian parliamentary election in 2008. In January 2009, he became the majority chief whip in parliament. At the beginning of the Fourth Republic, he was appointed Minister for Youth and Sports by President Jerry Rawlings. Mensah held that position through both terms of the Rawlings government. In January 2010, after a cabinet reshuffle, President John Atta Mills appointed him Minister for Employment and Social Welfare. Mensah was a member of the Pan-African Parliament until January 2009, when he resigned after being appointed to Member of State. In January 2011, he was appointed Minister for Education following the resignation of Betty Mould Idrisu. On 12th of February 2021, Mensah was unanimously elected as the representative of Council of State for the Greater Accra region. Now, Mensah was elected as a member of parliament of the Second Parliament of the Fourth Republic of Ghana during the 1996 Ghanaian general election. He pulled a total valid vote cast of 15,677, representing 56%, defeating his opponent Desmond Nene Kweno, who polled 1,569, which represent 5.6% of the total vote cast. Gwendolyn Zara Ado, an independent candidate who also polled 1,537, representing 5.5% under the membership of the New Democratic Congress. He maintained his seat as a member of parliament for the Ningo Pram constituency through to 2016, where he lost it to Samuel George Nate. We say there once again as well, may his soul also rest in perfect peace. But listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. Don't you go away, because we're still waiting for Mr. Olayomi Koiki, who's going to be joining us to bring us the updates from the courts. Yes, we're going to have a special time with him, so don't you go away. Well, as the judge has said, she is a flight risk. Will she be granted bail? And if she's not going to be granted bail, what if she sends? If she, whatever she's alleged to have stolen, let me put it that way, are they going to actually sell her assets to defray that cost, or what? Or is she just going to go down to serve her tail, and then when she comes back she says, I've not got the money, and then she has maybe some family of hers or friends or cronies who have got the money and who will be spending it on her? What do you think about all that? It's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. Let's take this quick commercial break, and then I bring you some lovely tune whilst we wait for Mr. Olayomi Koiki to join in. Stay tuned and don't touch the dial.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
The problem of Africa is the elite. Who run things, who run things, who run things. The problem of Africa is the elite. Who run things, who run things, who run things. Them all go to universities. Universities award them degrees. Big degrees. Degrees. Big degrees. MSc in stealing. Bachelor of Arts, mismanagement. Masters in looting. MSc in corruption, Bachelor of Science in nepotism, MSc in 4U Bachelor of Arts in indiscipline.
Are you ready to turn it up?
Embezzlement. The problem of Africa is daily. Who run things, who run things, who run things. The problem of Africa is daily. Who run things, who run things, who run things. Some of them went to London, London School of Fools, where they were awarded degrees.
Are you ready to turn it up?
This is Starr Radio UK. PhD in stupidity, MSc in foolishness, PhD dishonesty, PhD in recklessness, Bachelor of Arts in selfishness, MSc in greed, BSc maladministration, PhD in quasi-SM, PhD pull him down, MSc kill your donkey. The problem of Africa is daily. Who run things, who run things, who run things. The problem of Africa is daily. Who run things, who run things, who run things.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Archie on Starr Radio. Nobody does it better.
Welcome back to the program Starr Radio UK as we continue to wait for Yomi to join us from the courts. Yes, let me bring you a bit of background to this lady that we're talking about. The former Nigerian minister has been charged with bribery offenses following the National Crime Agency investigation. Dezeni Alison Madueke, age 63, who also served as president of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, was a key figure in the Nigerian government between 2010 and 2015. The NCA suspects she accepted bribes during her time as Minister for Petroleum Resources in exchange for awarding multi-million pounds oil and gas contracts. She's alleged to have benefited from at least £100,000 in cash, chauffeur-driven cars, flights on private jets, luxury holidays for her family, and the use of multiple landed properties. Her charges also detail financial rewards, including furniture renovation work and staff for the properties, payment of private school fees, and gifts from high-end designers shops such as Koiki Jewelry, Louis Vuitton Goods. Madueke, who currently lives in St. John's Wood in London, will appear at the magistrate court. That's today. She's in court, and as I did say earlier on, the judge had said that, well, she's a flight risk. Andy Kelly, head of the NCA International Corruption Unit, said, "We suspect Dezeni Alison Madueke abused her power in Nigeria and accepted financial rewards for awarding multinational pound contracts. These charges are a milestone in what has been a thorough and complex international investigation. Bribery is a pervasive form of corruption which enables serious criminality and can be devastating consequences for developing countries. We will continue to work with partners here and overseas to tackle the threats. Assets worth millions of pounds relating to the alleged offences have already been frozen as part of the ongoing investigation. In March this year, the NCA also provided evidence to the U.S. Department of Justice that enabled them to recover assets totaling $53.1 million linked to the Zionist Alison Madueke alleged corruption. ICU officers have also worked closely with the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission of Nigeria during the investigation, as well as with the NCA hosted International Anti-Corruption Coordination Center. The IACCC brings together specialist anti-corruption investigators from agencies around the world to tackle allegations of corruption involving politically exposed people. It's currently working in 37 different jurisdictions. Andre Pennell, Chief Crown Prosecutor for the CPS, said the Crown Prosecution Services has authorized the NCA to charge the Zeni Alison Madueke with bribery offenses. Okay, so that's the case that is going on. As I did say, Yomi is in the court. Said at the moment, some of the statement that is going on, or the main one that the president, the judge, my apologies, has made is that she is a flight risk, and therefore that means that she will not be allowed. That might mean that she might not be allowed bail. But what do you think about all that? Starr Radio UK. 14 minutes to the end of the first part of the program, but we're still waiting for Yomi. Even if he has to come in, and then we have to take out the program that Career 101 to allow him in. Why not? We'll be doing so. Starr Radio UK. Now, when it comes to other stories making the round this morning, the Mexico church 10 dead after Tamaulipas roof collapses. At least 10 people, including 3 children, were killed when the roof of a church collapsed in northern Mexico. The collapse happened on Sunday afternoon local time at around 100 people were attending a baptism at Santa Cruz Church in Ciudad Madero. Now 60 people were injured, at least 2 of them seriously, and dozens were trapped underneath the rubble. Now local residents rushed to the building with shovels and pickaxes to try to free those trapped. Now search and rescue team have since arrived at the scene, and 2 cranes are on the site to remove the debris. The governor of Tamaulipas said that all of those missing have been accounted for. Rescue workers used thermal imaging cameras to ensure no one remained under the rubble. It is not yet clear what may have caused the collapse of the but the mayor of Ciudad Madero said it was probably due to structural failures. Now, Angel Vargas, the priest who was celebrating the baptism when the collapse occurred, said that a day of celebration had turned into a tragedy. They came to search for heaven for their little ones and found eternity. I want the family to find peace. All of this is unfathomable. Local journalist Frank Contreras said that the collapse happened at a key moment in the service. Now people were lined up to take the communion, of course. That's sort of the climax of the Catholic Mass, and that's when the roof came down on top of them. Bricks, concrete, and of course steel support structures coming down on top of people, he said. He added that according to the Red Cross officials, the roof came down on pews in the church, allowing the possibility that anyone trapped there could survive in air pockets. So if you are, because the picture that I'm seeing in front of me, if you are maybe under the pew when you heard it coming, you could lie down and then you should be okay. So hopefully, as it said, all the 100 or those who were in there have been accounted for. That's a good one. But a sad one where we see people losing their lives coming to church and losing their lives there. So come your way from Starr Radio UK. Now, President Joe Biden has vowed continue U.S. support for Ukraine after federal military funding was excluded from a last-minute congressional budget deal. The temporary measure pushed through to avert a government shutdown did not include $6 billion or 4.92 billion pounds in military aid for Kyiv, a top White House priority. Now, hardline Republicans oppose federal military aid, and many openly opposing Mr. Biden's approach to the war. But on Sunday, Mr. Biden said Ukraine could count on U.S. support. We cannot, under any circumstance, allow U.S. support to Ukraine to be interrupted, Mr. Biden said. I can reassure Ukraine we'll get there. They're going to get it done, he said on restoring funding for the war. I want to assure our American allies that you can count on our support. We will not walk away. The U.S. had already supplied some $46 billion in military aid to Ukraine since Russia launched its full-scale invasion in February 2022. President Biden has requested another $24 billion, that is 19 billion pounds. And in recent months, the U.S. has sent state-of-the-art equipment to Kyiv, including long-range missiles and Abrams tanks. It comes as Kyiv forces continue to launch a slow-moving counteroffensive in the south of the country. That is all coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, as we still wait for Yomi. He should be joining us pretty soon, because I know that proceedings should end, or he will come out to give us some of the updates and might go back there. But wherever you are, stay tuned and don't touch the dial. Now, it's interesting. I have not seen a person who is being bashed left, right, center, middle, name it, but he's still standing. Why? The former U.S. President Donald Trump is expected to appear in a New York court on Monday at the opening of a civil fraud trial, which leaves his business empire in jeopardy. Mr. Trump, his two adult sons, the Trump Organization, are accused of inflating the value of their properties by more than $2 billion. Last week, a New York judge ruled Mr. Trump was liable for business fraud. Mr. Trump's legal team had tried and failed to delay the case. Last Tuesday, Judge Archie and Goron ruled that Mr. Trump had misrepresented his wealth by hundreds of millions of dollars. The New York Attorney General Letitia James is now seeking a fine of $250 million and a ban on Mr. Trump doing business in his home state. As a result of the action, the Trump Organization could be forced to relinquish control of its properties to a court-appointed receiver, or ultimately sell some of its landmarks. Is the Trump Tower going to go? I bet you, no way, he's not going to do that. Mr. Trump said late on Sunday that he planned to be present at the start of the trial on Monday morning. I'm going to court tomorrow morning to fight for my name and reputation, he wrote on his Truth social platform. This whole case is a sham. The case is a bench trial, meaning it will be decided not by a jury but by Judge Goron. He said it could take as long as 3 months to hear the case. Mr. Trump and the other defendants in the case have argued that they never committed fraud. The ex-president has already attacked the judge, accusing him of carrying out what he claimed was a politically motivated witch hunt. Now, Judge Goron's ruling last week resolved the key claim of fraud in Miss James' lawsuit, leaving the trial to focus on a more narrow set of 6 remaining fraud claims and on determining penalties against Mr. Trump. It's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. Now, what do you do with somebody like that? What do you do with somebody like that? It's all coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. At 12:30, if Yomi has not joined in, we'll take you to Cyprus, but as and when we have him, we will interrupt the Career 101 to bring you that update, because it's a promise that I've made. Unless he's not able to bring that till the program has ended. Then tomorrow he'll be bringing you all that information, but that we'll be putting it on our Facebook page and all the platforms that we are broadcasting on, so that you can know exactly what is happening there. But thank you very much for continuing to stay with us. Now, in other stories making around here in the UK front, the John Lewis boss, Dame Sharon White, is to step down after 5 years, making her the shortest serving chair in the partnership near 100-year history. Dame Sharon's 5-year term ends in February 2025. She has told the board she will not seek a second term. The partnership reported a loss of $234 million pounds, my apologies, last year, forcing it to scrap the annual staff bonus. She said the chain was making progress in its transformation, but admitted there was a long road ahead. Her 5-year term as chair will be the shortest in John Lewis's history. Her predecessors each served between 13 to 26 years. Now, Dame Sharon, who was the first woman to lead John Lewis, had faced controversy after she considered breaking the historic employee-owned structure of the partnership, which also owns Waitrose, by selling a stake to the outside investors to raise money to invest in the partnership. That plan was eventually shelved. Now, having led the partnership through the pandemic and the worst of the cost of living crisis, it is important that there is now a smooth and orderly succession process and handover, Dame Sharon has said. Now, she's done good. She's a black lady. And I tell you that the first time I saw her, I was like, really? Well, her name, first of all, I never Googled that. I never tried to find out what her name. Just read Sharon White. I thought, okay. But then I saw her, and she was one of us. And I was like, wow, to climb to the helm of that particular industry or company or organization is one of. But she's done well for herself. So let's see. We wish her all the best, and we hope that her last remaining a year plus will be a good one there for her as well. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, the Conservatives are having their party conference, but the former Prime Minister Liz Truss is to use a speech at the Conservative Party conference to call on ministers to cut taxes. This morning, the Chancellor of the Exchequer was being interviewed. He said cutting taxes is not the way forward. The Prime Minister was also interviewed yesterday, and he was also saying that is not the way forward. The only way forward is to halve inflation. Now, her address comes after Chancellor Jeremy Hunt said taxes wouldn't come down this year, but that he will later chart a path to lowering them. Hunt will also speak to the conference in Manchester this afternoon, where he will confirm a rise in the national living wage. Hunt will also say he intends to toughen sanctions for the people on benefits who do not take steps to find work. There will also be a speech from Education Secretary Gillian Keegan, who is pledging to crack down on mobile phones in schools. Well, it's quite an interesting one. That's its usage in schools or after school. How does she want to do so? Now, stick with us, and we're bringing you the latest from the Tory conference. Hopefully, as and when we have it. But there is a packed room in there, queues snaking through the Midland Hotel. People crammed into the room. The former Prime Minister Liz Truss in the front row, Nigel Farage, the former Brexit Party leader too, and banners being behind the stage. Now, why is Nigel Farage there? Is he part of the Conservative Party now, or is he a special guest? It doesn't belong to the Conservative Party, or has it become because of Brexit? Well. A twist on the slogan made famous by Donald Trump: make Britain grow again. All right then. So let's see. Can they? Will they? What do you think? Are we going to have Boris also there? Okay. Well, but government got legal migration system wrong after Brexit. That's what one of the ministers is saying. Immigration Minister Robert Jenrick has said that the government got it wrong after Brexit by introducing a more liberal legal migration system. He told a French meeting at the Tory conference at the Brexit that Brexit had given ministers the levers to control legal migration. But Jenrick added, where I think we have gone wrong immediately after leaving the EU, we established a legal migration system that was, if anything, even more liberal than the system we had even when we were in the EU. So you think that they have to strengthen it, tighten it, and that will be the way forward for them. What do you think about all that? It is all coming away from Starr Radio UK. 12:30 the time. I'm going to take you to Cyprus, where our own HRH Linda Pallien is, and then as and when we have Mr. Olayomi Koiki joining in, I promise you, we will break into that program and bring you Yomi. But let's take a break. I will get in touch with him and he will give us the updates from there. If he's ready to come on, we'll do that before we continue or take you to Cyprus. Stay tuned and don't touch the dial.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy. Okay, welcome back to the program Starr Radio UK. So no update from the courts yet. So that means that Yomi is still in there where he cannot be talking. Okay, the proceedings are still going on. So we'll take you straight to Cyprus. As I said before 1 o'clock, that the program will be brought to close. If we happen to have Yomi joining in, then we will be bringing you that update from the courts. If not, tomorrow there's going to be a comprehensive one for you there as well. But now let me take you to Cyprus, where HRH Linda Pallien is this morning to bring you Career 101. And Linda, good afternoon to you. Hope you are doing very, very well and you had a very nice relaxed weekend there as well. Only HRH Linda Pallien all the way in Cyprus. I know this lady, when it comes to the weekend, she likes enjoying it. I don't know whether she did, but from her face, I can tell you that she did enjoy it. So let me say good afternoon to you, Linda.
Good afternoon, how are you?
Yeah, doing very, very well. And you?
Oh, I'm fantastic. I had a great weekend. You didn't even have to ask.
You see, I told you she loves the weekend. And it's good. You work hard, you play hard. I believe in that. Yes. So what are we going to be looking at today?
Today we're looking at transferable skills.
Okay, transferable skills. Now, interestingly, we're talking about where in the on the African continent, some people who have been come out of universities have not got jobs to go to, and maybe they were trained in particular area, particular fields, and they cannot get a job. But maybe if they have some transferable skills, or they can be retrained or something like that, it could help them a great deal. So if you are listening to us this afternoon, we want you to open your ears, or clean your ears and get your notepads or whatever you take your notes on. But don't worry. If you happen that you miss out on anything, there'll be a podcast for you, and you can go to our YouTube or Facebook or all the social media platforms that we are broadcasting on and re-listen to it. It will help you a great deal. Transferable skills. Over to you, Linda.
Fantastic. I'm glad you mentioned about education as well, because normally when we talk about transferable skills, people think it's for others that are changing their jobs, or it's normally spoken about it in the job change sense. But transferable skills applies to you in education, whether you're going for promotion as well, that you can still use your transferable skills there. And of course, if you're changing your jobs. So we'll get straight to it. We'll define what transferable skills are. We'll talk about some of the skills that are considered really noteworthy transferable skills. And then I will share with you a skills checklist as well that you can check to see if you have any of these. And I promise you, at any level, whether you're just starting out, whether you've never had a job before, you have some transferable skills. And the thing about transferable skills, it relies on your ability to communicate this, to recognize that you have it and be able to express to a potential recruiter or a potential boss that you possess them. So we'll go straight to it. Transferable skills, to define it, is an ability or an expertise that can be used in a variety of roles. Any ability or expertise that can be used in a variety of roles. You develop it as you progress through your employment, through your education, or through your training as well. And they can be used, again, as we said, in education. So even if you're moving on from high school to senior school to grad school to PhD, some of these transferable skills, you'll use it in your application to go into these roles. So it's really important. And also in your personal lives, in your vocational training, but in your personal life, you can use transferable skills. For example, if you're a really diplomatic person, you can use that in a fight against your spouse. Or it's called transferable skills for a reason. It transfers into diverse situations. Ability to calm a situation down, or on the opposite end of the spectrum, to escalate a situation. That's skill. Okay, so now that we're clear on what transferable skills are in the career context, I'm going to share with you when you would need these. We've kind of spoken about this. There's a really good quote from Will Smith about talent and skill, which I will read verbatim from the book, what he says. The separation of talent and skill is one of the greatest misunderstood concepts for people who are trying to excel, for people who have dreams or who want to do things. So talent is an ability you have naturally, and skill is only developed through hours and hours of working on your craft. That's a direct quote from Will Smith. Talent you have naturally, skill is developed through hours and hours of working on your craft. So when we're talking about transferable skills, it also includes your talent. And a lot of people say, well, I'm good at drawing. How does that relate to, for example, a job that I may have? Well, actually, if you're good at drawing, you're good at conceptualizing ideas and recreating them in tangible, visible, physical forms. And you can use that whether you're doing software programming, where again, you're taking someone's idea, I want a beautiful website that does blah, 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 and you conceptualize that wish and desire of the customer into what they perceive as a website. Those are transferable skills directly from your drawing that you can use in, let's say, the software programming field. So it's not just that you have one skill and you're stuck with that. It's being able to explore it and showcase, because you wouldn't necessarily have all of the experience that is sought after in a particular job or in a particular position. But if you can show that you've done this before in a different context and you can apply it into this context, then it works as good evidence of showcasing your skills. You may have heard a lot of people say, well, I grew up with 8 people in the household, I know how to manage people. That is a good example of transferable skills, and it doesn't take away because it was in the household setting. I mean, you at the end of the day, you're still talking to people, and they can relate to managing people, to managing your siblings, to managing your kids, to managing the household, to the household budget, to be able to manage the finances of the company. It does translate, and it's equally valid. So I really want to reassure you, if you're listening to this and thinking, well, I don't have any transferable skills, dig a little deeper. I want to challenge you to dig a little deeper.
Okay. Now, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK Career 101 with HRH Linda Pallien. As we've said this morning, you are supposed to listen to us. Whether you're a student, whether you're a graduate, whether you are work, whatever you are. Okay, it's very important, because we are looking at transferable skills, especially when we are in a time where today you have a job, tomorrow they say that is no more, and you need to find something else. What do you have to say that with this I can also now tend to be this? But Linda, you did talk about I don't know whether from the definition that Will Smith gave, but it looks like someone is asking the question, so until somebody polishes their talent, you cannot call it a skill. Is that it?
Not necessarily. You can have a natural skill, but you can have a natural talent, but if you don't work on it to polish it, whoever works on it and doesn't even have that natural talent will for sure overtake you.
Okay.
That regards. Okay. So you can sit on gold and do nothing with it. Take it and turn it into a beautiful jewelry and up the value. Think about how you may have a natural talent to sing, but you probably still need singing lessons and practice to be able to use it in the best possible format. And this is with your natural talents.
Thank you very much. I think that's a good one there. So if you are listening to us, you are talented. Yes, you need to work on it, and it can be a very good skill for you. All right then, over to you, Linda.
Fantastic. I'm going to share with you 15 of the top and most sought after transferable skills for employers, and then I'm going to share with you some of the key skills, and we're going to break it down so that into a checklist that you can just tick off. So the first one, in no particular order, is management. We've alluded to that. If you've managed people, you've managed a treasury, you've been in charge of anything. Management can really be a really good transferable skill that you can use to demonstrate your leadership qualities. So definitely look for areas in your life where you've managed something, whether it's a church choir, whether you've managed a Sunday school group, whether you've managed a club, or even organized an activity. You can use those activities as evidence of management for your transferable skills. The second one is problem solving, and this is such a key skill for any employer. Your ability to solve problems. Nobody wants someone who's going to come to them with every little problem and ask what to do. Every manager is looking for, every employer is looking for someone who can think on their feet, who can be creative, who can come up with solutions, even if they don't act on it, or suggest solutions at least to be considered, rather than being a chicken little, the sky is falling all the time. It's not helpful. And especially if you're in employment right now, if you're looking for ways to boost your profile as an employee and to get a raise or to get a promotion, again, problem solving will be definitely a key skill to have. The third one is analytical reasoning. And this is the ability to be able to look objectively at information and deduce useful data out of it. So being able to analyze a given data is really important to employers. Analytical reasoning. So if you don't know what that is, it's part of problem solving, but it's really identifying a solution and finding logical solutions to a company's problems. That definitely is very sought after. And then following on from that, we have critical thinking. To again using a problem solving and analytical reasoning, but also to be able to decipher what a fact is and what the truth is. There's a difference between fact and truth. And looking at the evidence and evaluating that and deciding which information is more opinion and which one is based on fact, to back up a decision that you'll take. That is critical thinking. And you know, this is a subject that is taught in some secondary schools in England, or you can do a lot of courses. I don't even want to restrict this to England, because you can do a lot of online courses for free on critical thinking to sharpen these skills. And for me, that is a very valuable skill to have in any employee, regardless of whatever position you're doing. Even if you're doing something that doesn't involve maths or what is traditionally white-collar jobs, understanding how to critically think makes you a standout employee and definitely a good candidate. Or even exhibiting these on your CV or in your applications will help you. So it's not just enough to be it, but to be able to communicate it and demonstrate that you have these skills.
Okay.
The next skill is leadership. This is the fifth skill we're on about, leadership. Leadership abilities, being able to take the lead on a project, get a team to get behind your ideas and follow you and accomplish a shared goal. Again, leadership skills. You can't go wrong with having leadership skills, regardless of where you're starting from. Leadership skills, be able to supervise and manage a team, again, priceless. Number 6, adaptability. Can you adapt to a given scenario? Because life is a constant, you know, things change all the time. Something might happen at work, you might not be, your boss might not always be present to tell you what to do. Can you adapt and make the most out of a situation? I always use this example because I think it's my favorite. The late Kofi Annan, how he became UN Secretary General when there was a to have, and his boss was flying in the air, and he had to step in and make a decision, which then demonstrated that he was good enough to become UN Secretary General. So again, if you're able to be adaptable and pivot and adapt to change as it's happening and maintain a positive attitude whilst you're doing it and get your work done, wow, who doesn't want that person to work for them? Who doesn't want that person to be in their corner working on? Seventh skill is teamwork. Teamwork. No man is an island. Whether you're doing a project, let's use this example of drawing. You may think, oh well, in my profession I work alone. You gave me the brief, but again, you're working for someone, with someone. You need that teamwork skill, that you don't rub people up the wrong way. You're able to listen to others and be able to build a relationship with people to achieve a common goal. Right, and again, that would really help. And even if it's, as we said in your drawing, if you're working within National Association of Artists, for example, there you go, that's a team. It's people that work individually but part of the consortium. So definitely you need teamwork skills to accomplish any goal. And then communication. Communication is our eighth skill. Communication, again, another priceless skill. To be able to interpret a piece of information in a way that, or relate a piece of information in a way that people understand it, they don't take offense. It's clear, everyone knows what they're doing. It's clear and concise and unambiguous. It's a very useful skill, whether it's in writing, emails, text messages, writing press releases, whatever it is, written communication you're doing, whether it's oral communication, whether you're giving a speech, or maybe doing a briefing, taking notes or minutes at meetings. To be able to communicate effectively will really help you. Last week we did those skills that will stand you in good stead, and again, communication was one of them, right, that you need. So definitely communication. Number 9 is writing skills. This seems a bit repetitive, but again, written communication that conveys a message clearly will really help you. And in the absence of visual cues, to be able to write in a way that people can see what is being communicated to them is a skill, but again, a very transferable skill that you can use in one job to another. So you might not be a copywriter anymore, but you might be able to use the fact that you're able to write to be able to do radio or present it. It's a different form of communication, but still communication. And then number 10, active listening skills. Active listening skills. The opposite end of the spectrum of communicating is listening. Human beings love to feel heard, and that someone is listening to them. That's the only way you can communicate effectively, if you actually understand what someone's trying to relate to you, whether it's your client, whether it's your supplier, whether it's your team, whether it's your kids. Active listening skills, to be able to demonstrate that in a job interview and say, and actually in job interviews we test for this. We test for active listening. And we've done this in this forum before, where, for example, in an interview question, I would say, tell me a time of when you've used good communication to be able to convince an angry customer, and what the feedback was. So this question, if you're listening to it, has 2 parts. The first part is when you've used good communication skills. The second part is the reaction and the feedback from the customer. A lot of people on the interview stage, because you're nervous and you're trying to give a good impression, as soon as the question's asked, you are thinking about, a time when I've used good communication skills. You're formulating your star or your answer in your head, that you didn't listen
to the customer. I didn't listen to the end of the question itself as well.
To the second, and it's a trick that interviewers use to see if you possess active listening skills. So I always say in interview prep, if we've done interview prep together, let them finish, listen to the whole question first, and then take a moment to frame your answer before you start talking. There's no crime against pausing for a few seconds before you answer the question. You don't have to answer the question right away. You can seconds, gather your thoughts before you answer the question. But the important and the key skill is answering the question properly because you've been actively listening.
Yeah. But on the active listening, now, and you saying that you can pause before you answer the question. Some people are of the view that by so doing, it shows that you were not prepared for that particular question that is being posed. Either you've not experienced anything, now you are just trying now to think about something. So at times when I sit in a panel like that, then I think he's not going to just cook something for us. So he's not actually experienced that. So if somebody finds themselves in such a situation, what should they do there? I know we are digressing a bit though.
No, that's a great point. I've never come across that point of view at all. But I think it's also fine to explain or to elaborate. Give me a second to put my answer at once. And I think depending on the quality of your answer, you can dispel that prejudice that you're not.
Okay.
I think if you pause, also depend on the length of the pause. There's a comfortable pause and there's a
long pause.
Hopefully you would have prepared some of these competency questions already. You don't need to pause that long. But definitely, I think, depending on the quality of the answers, most people see it as you gathering your thoughts. And you, again, if you have the inkling that they're thinking that, clarify. When people communicate, there's nothing like communicating super clearly. Oh, I just need a minute to gather my answer so I can give you a better answer. It explains to them what you're doing. It fills the gap. It gives you more time to think. And it doesn't go against you. If you rush the question and you don't answer it fully,
that goes against you. Yeah.
So in doubt, pause and think about it, and then come up with a really good answer that hopefully puts them away.
Okay.
That's a great input, Archie. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Okay. So where are we? The 11th skill. We talked about active listening. Creativity. Again, one of my favorite skills, creativity. And as I said, one thing I've learned recently, which I'm applying in my own life, is the importance of creativity and dedicating time to creativity. You know, there's a saying that says there's no lack of money, just a lack of creativity.
Yeah.
And creativity is not just an ability to sing, draw, what we traditionally refer to as a creative art. More than that, it's creatively financing your business, creatively selling to someone without seeming salesy or pushy, creatively conveying your idea across without conveying a perhaps sensitive idea across without offending. You know, creativity is in so many ways, and every single person on earth who is a creation in themselves possesses creative skill. And we just need time to hone those skills. I was listening to, I can't remember what this motivational speaker name was, but he was saying we don't dedicate enough time to hone in our creativity. Creativity takes time. I've been watching a lot of bridal things because it's been wedding season, and just looking at the time it takes to create one wedding dress or to create one stunning jewelry piece or to create an artwork. And if we look at people in the traditional creative arts, they don't just get up and they're able to play a role in a movie. They practice for months, sometimes they diet for it, and we need to leaf out of their booklets. They allow themselves to be vulnerable, work on their craft to hone it, to be able to do that. And in the business world, we don't do that, or in non-traditional creative roles, we forget that you don't just learn and train to be an accountant and then you're suddenly an accountant. You start with your craft. You be able to work on how to communicate or talk on your broadcast to keep people engaged. You still need to work as a public speaker on maybe how you carry yourself or your stage presence or how people perceive your message. And we need to dedicate the time to being creative about how we do what it is we do. Are you an out-of-the-box thinker? Do you employ novel techniques to help clients understand how to use your product? To find novel solutions to problems that they face? This is where the money is, in the creativity of being creative about how to do banal things, usual things, but a creative way of it. Today I was looking at an interview from Shudu, the digital model creator, and he was saying he's a young person in his 30s, and he says, I've been a fashion photographer for ages, and I play video games in my spare time, and I thought, I'm burnt out in this industry, I want to do something different, I'm questioning what I'm doing with my life. And it's like, well, in 3 months he was able to learn how to program and to code, and to be able to draw on the skills that he's gained in the fashion sense and from gaming, and put it together with the tangible skill he's just learned in how to program, to be able to new thing and revolutionize the industry. That one would say it's saturated or there's too much in it and nobody anymore. There's nothing new invented. If you give enough time to be creative, you can invent this. And this guy's story is particularly touching because look at the time. I'll just finish this thought. His story is particularly touching because he stopped working in London, moved in with his parents again for a year to reset. Basically, and from his parents' shed, he created this. Us feel like this at different times, and we feel like it's just us and all hope is lost. It's the most creativity and most genius comes from this particular scenario. The feeling that, and you're looking at what transferable skills you can use. Creativity is definitely one that you can use. I'll just mention the rest of them. So attention to detail is one of them. Project management is another transferable skill that you can use. Relationship building, being able to understand people, priceless. Computer skills is also one of that you can always use any particular job or in any transferable skills that you may need to.
Wow, listeners, this has been a load full of skills that you need to you might have them all there. Everything that she's talked about, you might have them there, but because you've not taken the time to check it out or use it, so you think, whoa, it's not there. What is she talking about? She is living on another planet. No. These are transferable skills that we are talking about. You have them in it, but you have to take time to actually even discover that you still have them. But if you want to know more about what we've talked about and how, when it comes to your career, your hands can be held, taken through the various places by Linda, then please you can go back to our broadcast. You go to Starr Radio UK every Monday edition of the morning show. You will have the latter part, Linda there bringing you Career 101. We've touched on various topics and it's very, very important to each and every one of us. If you really want to go on in life. Okay, so Linda has written a few books that every time we come on I do talk about them. Now they are also there to help you out when it comes to your career as well. So I'm going to go back to her. She's going to talk about those books, and then she can put her contact details across to you. If you are interested, get in touch with her. She runs some programs that you could just register. At times you call it, it's expensive, but it's something that you are using to better yourself up. So it's very, very important. I want you to listen to her and then get in touch with her. Over to you, Linda.
Thank you. So as you said, sometimes we tend to think, getting help is expensive, but the real question is, can you afford not to? To be in the same position that you've been in for the last few years, for the next few years, when you can invest a little and move yourself into a much better place and tenfold your income sometimes. So definitely that's something to think about. If you're interested in the books, they're called the career books. Funny that this is Career 101, they're the career books by Linda Pallien, and they're available on Amazon and also via my website if you're based in Cyprus. But Amazon across the world, you can find them. They've been priceless resources for a lot of people around the world. There's loads of testimonials that you'll see, and definitely get your hands on them. We spoke about transferable skills. In the career workbook, which is the book 3, there's a part to bring out these transferable skills in you and to be able to explore that. In the career successful, we talk about, this is book 2, we talk about what transferable skills you might need for what employment and how you can use other experiences, unconventional experiences, to be able to get the job of your dreams without necessarily having the experience for it. So it's all there. And then of course the how to career, if you're thinking of resetting or doing a second business, definitely these 6 steps are there to guide you. You can find them all on lindapallien.com. lindapallien.com. You can find out about the books, how to work with me one-to-one. You can look at what training programs we have. They start from £20. They are super affordable, and they're online, and you can do them from the comfort of your own home, and you can implement it today to start earning the money you deserve, the career you deserve, the life you deserve, because you owe it to yourself. So definitely, or contact me on social media, on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, at Linda Pallien or at my cheerleader. She say, I'm a cheerleader of people's successes and dreams, and I can be your cheerleader too.
Yes, and that's it. She said it. She is my cheerleader. She can be your cheerleader. So why not make sure you get in touch with her. Linda, let me say thank you very much for this wonderful time once again.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. All right, then, listeners, that was HRH Linda Pallien on Career 101. Okay, so let me say thank you very much, Linda. She's going to be with us next week, God willing. But wherever you are, my sincere apologies for those of you who were still waiting for updates from the courts. The proceedings are still going on. And Yomi, we communicated he could not come out to bring us that and then go back in. So he's still in there. So tomorrow, God willing, on the morning show, he's going to be bringing you all the details that you need to know as to whether our lady, what was the name again, the Zeni Alison Maduke has been set free, or whatever is going to happen, or whatever has happened to her. We'll be telling you more about that tomorrow, God willing. I want to say thank you very much. But before we go, tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, exactly at 1:30, BB Clement will be coming your way with BB Means Business. You know that program. Well, and she's going to be looking at the cost of financial illiteracy. The cost of financial illiteracy. How money works. So you got some money, or you don't have even the money at all, but you can use somebody's money to work for you, and you can make some money. So she's going to be talking about that tomorrow afternoon. So I want to invite you to make a date with us tomorrow afternoon when she comes your way, exactly at 1:30. But tomorrow I'll be back to bring you another edition of the morning show. But before we go, we take this social announcement, and then I bring you my last music, and then we go off. So don't touch the dial. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
The family, the Christian community, friends and loved ones of the late Apostle Mark Nyako and Mrs. Victoria Nyako wishes to invite friends and loved ones and all sympathizers to a 1-week observation at the Numa Christian Center, 87 Beddington Lane, Croydon, postcode CR040D. The event will take place on Friday, the 6th of October 2023 from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Buses 466 and 463 ply that route. And if you want to travel on a tram, Beddington Lane is a stop for you. Also, there's going to be free parking there. For further information, please contact Evelyn on 075 5483 8421, Kojo 073 7592 8737, or Sheila on 079 8358 1818. Come and mourn with us, even as we celebrate the lives of the late Apostle Mark Nyako and Mrs. Victoria Nyako. God bless you and see you all there. Thank you very, very much for joining us today. I'm going to bring the program to a close. As I did say, Yomi was not able to join in, but for sure, tomorrow, God willing, we'll be bringing you all that you need to know from the courts pertaining to this case. All right then. So let me say thank you. I will come your way tomorrow, God willing, if we are alive, and I pray that Nigeria will not happen to you on the second day of the 10th month. May your day be good to you wherever you might be. But enjoy this song from Kofi Boham, and it says, writing names of talkatives, those who just want to criticize you for criticizing your sake and not giving any constructive criticism, don't mind them, okay? Yes, keep on doing what you are doing. If you are convicted, why not? After you are convicted by it, you want to stand by it, why not? Yes, continue that way. And let me say bye-bye for now. It's been me, your one and only Archie, saying stay blessed. Bye-bye.
It's like my favorite song on this album, y'all. It's no secret in our world. People like to talk the things they know and the ones they don't. They will spread lies and rumors just to be known. So why are you wasting your time like this? Hearing those things that break your heart. Give no attention, give no